Good evening, guys. Good to see you again. And welcome to another Saturday evening. Let's see who we have in the house at the moment. Bob 942. Good to see you. And Alan, good to see you. Well, survivalist. Ace, good to see you again, ma'am. And prepared for, good to see you. And Guardian, good to see you. Well, we wait a couple of more minutes and let people drop in before we get into today's topic. I hope you have your coffee, tea, or hot chocolate, or whatever you need. Hey, CR, good to see you. Always put out those jokes as usual, CR. Hey, Slippery Pickle, good to see you. I hope you guys had a great week. Mine has been quite good, actually. A lot of things to do, but a little bit stressful some days, but it is what it is. Hey, Iron Fire Horse, good to see you. How are you doing, ma'am? I thought so, Guardian. I thought you might like this topic because this is a topic that is not mentioned that often, actually, very few. Hey, Wayne Hunter, good to see you. And welcome, Purple Ale. Okay, which one are the cases? Oh, let's see here. Good to hear, Iron Fire Horse. Good to hear. Yeah, we are getting ready for the winter here as well, so this week's one. I can't say I heard anything about that. So, let's see here. Oh, now I need to do it like this. And this. Copy. Let's see. Guardian. Paste. There you go, Guardian. I'll wait for Guardian to pop up, and I hope PV shows up too. It was a long time ago I saw him. But anyway, good to see you guys. I hope this will be okay, Guardian, no problem. Take care of the little ones first. But anyway, today's topic is the psychology of long-term isolation or boredom. I can say I have seen any channels talk about this kind of topic before. So you can call this topic rare, basically. And it's a topic not many think of. Have you watched the movie Castaway? No, I can't say I have. I'm not familiar with that movie. I think I need to add that one to the list. I checked that up. But that is a movie I'm going to. Thanks for the. I need to. I need to put that on. Write that down so I don't forget it. Yes. I'll check that movie up later. Slippery pickle. You don't last very long in a deprivation chamber. 72 hours, maybe a bit longer if you have a strong mind. Yeah, probably. If you have time, I strongly recommend it. It speaks to isolation. Good point, Guardian. I already wrote that down, so now I have that title saved. So I will check that up probably tomorrow. Hey, Mike, good to see you. Yeah, that is another point, actually. I had in mind to mention that. How are you doing, Mike? Dave Olderhead, you're not late. We just run for 9 minutes, almost 10, so don't worry. We just didn't begin with a topic yet, but we will. So I'm fine with hermit isolation. My mind isn't too little to be left alone. Yeah, we'll be on, so no problem. We are just in the beginning. I'm good. Just with family. We'll join later. No problem, Mike. I had no problem with the isolation of COVID. I really enjoyed it. Yeah. Hey, Guardian.
Hey, brother. How you doing? Are you well?
Yeah, I'm doing pretty good.
Yeah, so yeah, thanks for having me up on the panel. It's good to see everybody in chat.
And I thought you might find this topic interesting. And I believe you have a lot of things to say about this topic. The psychology of long-term isolation and boredom.
I actually really do. There's a lot to it that I could really bring up. Let me just close the door real quick on my side over there.
Yeah, no problem.
I've got something to show you guys as well that I built up for over about a year. I collected some items for this exact purpose, for isolation and for overcoming boredom, because I believe that it is one of those elements to survival, and not so much survival, but just to prepping, that isn't covered as much as it should be. So yeah, I really love that.
I agree. I agree. It's not covered. It's not covered as much as it should be. I agree with that, definitely. So yeah. Someone needs to talk about it. And now it happened to be me. But that's okay.
It's good. I hope that Bob joins us as well, because I think that when it comes to this topic, both Bob and CR, I think, CR being such a creative person, would be lovely to have him around as well.
A simple, happy life. Good to see you.
So I'll jump right into it for those people that are still around on the stream at the moment. It's good to see some familiar names. Hey, by the way, Mark, always lovely to see you as well, brother. And Iron Firehorse, some good people around as well this evening.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely one of those nice streams. Also, Slippery Pickle, good to see you. Yeah, Bob said you'll be with us.
It's always nice to see. It's always nice to see Slippery Pickle. He has always good comments.
Yeah, I think he's a local on my side. I think that he's a local to South Africa, if I'm not mistaken. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
I've heard him say something along the same lines, and he's always had some good inputs. They've always had some good inputs as well.
Slippery Pickle has actually a good point here. You need purpose to endure long-term isolation.
That's a good one. That's a very good point. Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah, purpose helps a lot. Yeah, you'll find that there you can derive purpose from many different sources. And I think that it's good. No, you do make me smile, Slippery Pickle. That's absolutely true. What I'm going to do for you guys is I'm just going to show you some of the items. I've got this leather bag, right? And if you see the leather bag itself, the idea for it is that each of the items that are in here that I have stored, I'll show you real quick. Opening up to just a happy, Buddha, so representative of peace and happiness and kindness. And here I'll show you some of these compact pieces that you guys might like. So here is a compact Monopoly set.
Yeah,
it's a full Monopoly game for up to 6 players. So 6 players can enjoy a real game of Monopoly at the size of this. So this is extremely compact. You can see how thin that is as well. So it's really nice and thin. And then there's also a couple of other interesting pieces over here. So I'll get them out. And then we've got a tin. The reason why I use a a colorful and vibrant tin like this is because it's obviously multi-use when it comes to having a container. Many of you know that like containers are always useful in preparedness situations. And then inside here, what I have is, so inside this tin, I have a card pack. So regular bicycle cards. There are many different card games. And I've actually got a little booklet within my preps as well that speaks to all the different card games that you can play. There are so many. Even if it's just, if you're isolated for any point of time, you actually can take this with you, a very small card pack. And basically what it does is that it gives you the ability to even play like solitaire, solo or something, if you're in a solo situation. But of course, in a group, it's fantastic to have the capability to, play different kinds of games and that as well. Hey, Diggs.
Welcome to Savage.
Yeah, it's good to see you, Diggs and Evil Girl. Good to have
Evil
you guys
Girl,
here.
good to see you.
Another card
and
pack.
Diggs Outdoors, good to see you.
Redundancy. And then there's a game of pop, like quick pop game for the family. And then we've got another card set. So 3 card sets in a very compact area on that side.
That is really nice.
Amounts of pens. So pens in a waterproof casing. Very budget friendly and very compact. So if you're wanting to make notes, you can always leave notes for people as well. It's a good amount of pens. If you even want to, draw for a little bit of something as well, doodle every now and again, like draw up little notifications for people. And then what else is in this bag? I'll show you. I've got a snakes and ladder board. So, I mean, you can make this out there in the wilderness if you wanted to. Some of these you can also recreate through carpentry and through bushcrafting. But a nice little magnetized, it's magnetized, so obviously it's easier for the pieces not to be lost. And it's very small and compact, and you can also fit other items inside this. And again, it's working as a container inside a container. So redundancy once more.
Yeah.
And then I'll show you, there's a couple of other really interesting pieces here. These are already made chess pieces. I mean, if you've got the time, you can always make your own chess pieces as well. But this is a compact chess piece as well. You can find smaller chess pieces, but this is really convenient to have. And then you must remember that all of these fit inside this compact pack as well. So with a very large inch kit, and for having, caches as well, you can stick this type of thing inside a cache too. There is the additional carrier as well, an additional container for yourself with the much smaller chess pieces. So much smaller chess pieces. There's the chess pieces inside there.
Hey, Bob.
Hey, fellas.
I'll show you here just quickly. I'll finish up here as well. But it's a Scrabble, so you can play Scrabble if you want to. All the pieces for Scrabble. Like, I'm being sincere when I say that you see Scrabble backing even the boards. So that's why I say some of these can be made from a bit of carpentry, but for the most part, one more thing here that you might be interested in seeing, which is that this over here is dominoes. So again, you can make dominoes out there. If you've got a magnifying glass and you take wooden pieces, you can actually make them, but it's much more efficient to have a set of dominoes like this that's already made. And this is a very sturdy leather case as well. So
good thinking.
Good thinking.
In all of this case really weighs very little, and you can strap it even on the bottom of your pack or on the side. But the whole idea is so that you keep the family entertained as well, because during an SHTF or during disastrous scenarios, hey Bob, it's good to see you, buddy. It's it's one of those things that's such a bonus, to be able to make sure that in stressful situations that you keep kids like entertained, and that you also have like situations and the capability to fight against boredom. How you been, Bob? You having a good weekend?
Yeah, not bad. I haven't been arrested or inappropriately touched inappropriately, so it's a good day.
Well, that is a good thing. That is,
yes,
count your blessings,
Well, what I noticed when the Charlie Victor pandemic were ongoing here, I heard that the depression numbers went up And that was because mostly of those elder people were alone and they were isolated in their own homes. They couldn't go anywhere, so they had to have their groceries delivered. And many of those who were elders, they got depressed after a while because they couldn't handle it. They couldn't handle it to be isolated.
Certainly,
in isolation.
Certainly. I recall. I'll add to that, Shadow.
Yeah.
I recall in my area, Seattle area. Okay, the grocery stores were limited in operating hours, and restaurants were closed down for limited operations and all that.
Yeah.
But the alcohol stores and the marijuana stores were free to operate, and both of those are a depressant.
Yeah.
Alcohol and marijuana. They were free to operate 24/7 as much as they wanted to. Yeah. So that's it's one thing that you must do if you're feeling a little depressed. Stay away from that stuff. Don't touch it. Leave it alone. It's not going to help you.
No, it will make things worse, much worse.
Mm-hmm.
So alcohol, alcohol definitely, that's the whole thing. Even during the Prohibition, people were, making like drinks for themselves and doing home brews and that. Alcohol definitely can cause quite a bit of problems. As you can imagine, just if you're already in a stressful situation, it can amplify emotions. So basically it can make it so that if you're like already agitated, that it is possible for you to become more agitated. And then obviously the lack thereof drinking or alcohol, if you develop a dependency, it can be a bit problematic. But it's there again, like for those people that really do like enjoy the drink and it like gives them some sort of sense of normality. Removing alcohol strictly from and making people go stone cold can also have those impacts. But obviously, straightforward on a logical and rational reason, alcohol can be a massive danger if you're actually in a preparedness situation, and that's the truth behind it. Like no beating around the bush. Absolutely, it's bad.
Absolutely.
So I could sit here and try and pander and cater to people that do drink and not offend people, but realistically, alcohol can get you killed extremely quickly. Like there's so many things
because people tend to drink too much.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, sir.
Yep.
Specifically, if they're already like going through something and then they have depression and then they start drinking, they try to drink the depression away, and it just leads to more depression. So I don't actually apologize. I don't apologize because of what I've seen alcohol do throughout my life and the impacts that it's had on people that I cared about. So I don't apologize for speaking negatively against alcohol, but I do think that having the occasional drink in a camaraderie setting with a couple of people, like around a social setting or something as well, maybe you're having a barbecue or something, and you have a beer or two, I'm not going to be judgmental to people in that regard. Like I'm not, you know what I'm saying? But at the same time, in SHTF, it can be so bad. It really can. So I do agree with you on that point wholeheartedly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Diggs says people look to alcohol and marijuana to numb the feeling. Problem is when it wears off and soberness sets in, those feelings flood back in tenfold.
Yeah,
it usually does.
Yeah, during the COVID days, I did several things to keep my hands busy, which were also beneficial to people that I know personally and online. I made hundreds and hundreds of waxed fire starters, hundreds of them, out of junk just laying around the house, like cardboard boxes, etc. And I just sit there and tie these all up, drop them in wax. This is all combustible material, cardboard and old cordage and popsicle sticks. And one fella who lives up in the mountains, I filled up an enormous box of these things and sent them to him because he cooks over an open fire and all that. And it benefited him because now he doesn't have to struggle with trying to start wet firewood. And
Everybody knows how it is to try to start a fire with wet firewood. I
when you
done
have
that, been there, and it's
me,
not fun.
it's not fun. It's just very frustrating and time consuming. But I these will start wet wood on fire. I guarantee it. I tested them enough, but also some other friends of ours in the local area, which we violated the restrictions, and I actually drove up to their houses and gave them big boxes of these because they had fireplaces to keep their
Yeah.
houses warm and wood stoves to keep their houses warm. It kept me busy, and it did a benefit to people that I know. You know, that's one of the things that I did during the shutdown.
What you got there is also light. And when it comes to carrying a large amount of gear, like not as much size capacity, but the weight of an item. And those items that you have there, the benefit compared to not having them definitely is worth that extra space. So,
Yes.
yeah,
Hmm. Yeah.
100% so. Like I
Yeah.
can't, and that's why I've said like I've spent so long in different inch kits and bug out bags, and I really love it because I love the whole creativity side to it. Getting into and understanding what you could potentially need, actually going out there into the field, hiking and
Hmm.
camping. And those of you familiar with my channel will see how active of a hiker I've been over the years, camping and that too. And it's something where like I legitimately I really practice it, and then I've been able to master and switch out to my own specific preference, not master for anybody because we've all got different requirements, and our own capabilities kind of speak to that. But in a lot of ways, like just making sure that you've got the right gear and things like that, where if it is like a dampish weather and everybody's feeling cold and you need to start a fire and you have no capability, I mean, even if you can have as much tinder as you want in that as well. If there's a damp area, unless you've got something that Bob was showing you there, like legitimately, you're going to have a really difficult time. And that fire can be the difference between survival or not. If you fall ill and if you get sick because of like that type of cold weather and your body temperature drops too low and you become a lot more vulnerable and susceptible to, just a common cold, you don't have the capability to fix that and you end up in a really, really bad spot. So having that warmth and having that fire is completely like super important. That's why I always mention having a magnifying glass, indestructible almost magnifying glass that you can utilize, that you can like start fires in the afternoons, because fire is so important. It really, really is. You have to have that.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
another thing with long-term isolation and boredom is that the risk for cabin fever is really high. And it depends on how fast you get cabin fever. It depends on your mental status from the beginning.
Yes.
If you have a strong mentality, it takes longer before you break down and get the cabin fever. You can be the nicest person in the world, but when you get cabin fever, you will be a nasty person.
Yes. Yeah. Danger to yourself and to the people around you if you're mentally unstable. Uh, uh, but though that was one of the things that I did during the COVID shutdown times. I have lost count how many of those I made out of just household packaging and stuff laying around, anything combustible. And another thing that I did, which was that was beneficial to me because it kept my hands busy, knowing that I'm doing something positive. Where if someone you don't want to run out of matches. If you're cold and tired, and one
Oh
match,
no.
and you can light one of those fire starters, and you're going, you're good. But here's another thing that I did. In fact, I got to get back and clean this one. These are for my candles. I put water in the base of these,
Yeah.
so that as the wax runs down, I can grab the wax. And I polished all my glassware, everything. I got some metal polish and cleaned this stuff up until it was sparkling clean. It kept my hands busy. Plus, the appearance is very beneficial to your mental health. Something that's clean and it's exact. Do you understand what I mean?
Yeah.
Polished. Like my wife has is Catholic, and she has a Mother Mary statue, all that stuff.
Yeah.
I took all of that stuff and polished it until it was just sparkling. Things like that kept me busy, and my
Yeah.
wife would come by her shrine to Jesus and to Mother Mary and just light up.
Yeah.
Wow, look at that,
And B. Savage has a point. You can adjust to prolonged isolation after years of being snowed in. In the Appalachian Mountains, I learned to thrive, not just survive. Yeah, you can, but you need to do the right way.
Yeah.
And you
I
need
like
to
that.
find the method that works for you, because your method to deal with it and handle it might not work for you.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yep.
So yeah, if you're speaking about this, psychology of isolation and boredom as well, if you want to, mention some more things that are pretty similar to that, when it comes to what Bob was speaking about there, having something that looks good, things that are aesthetically pleasing are surprisingly good on a psychological level. If you start deteriorating in your area, whether it be like a small campsite or wherever it is that you're bugging out, that whole thing about long-term scenarios such as that, if you allow things to get messy and untidy, and you kind of lose track on, you really stop bothering about the way that your immediate environment looks. I understand that, of course, there are priorities that need to be taken care of, but if you don't have that sense of discipline about your own area as well, when it comes to things looking good, that's why having something like that can be good, because you're basically just in a situation where, like, as soon as you have too much untidiness and like mess around you from any of your equipment, or you just have it untidy, it's so easy to lose gear like that. It's so easy to lose items when you don't have the capability to have a strict order of where things are. And it speaks to where you are mentally. So even though it just is a couple of things untidily in your bug out bag because you were, in a rush from a place to another place, and you just didn't think it was that important because there's more bigger priorities. Sometimes it's those details and the aesthetic side that'll absolutely keep you like much more positive and your willpower up. Because if you lose your willpower, what's the point of anything else? That's the only thing keeping you alive sometimes. So
yeah, you're done. You're done. If you lose
yep.
your willpower, down you go. And if you decline, then your wife declines, your children decline, and it's just a cascading effect.
yeah.
So slippery mentioning that, that's actually surprising that that comment's actually mentioned, because if you look at the way that society is in South Africa, there used to be a lot more informal settlements as well in general. And if you go through a lot of the areas, there's this amazing like sense of people taking an immense amount of pride in the areas and regions that they're living in, even areas that sometimes have previously, been really like kind of just made in a survivalist kind of way to make sure that they have the bare necessities to live. There's a lot of people throughout South Africa that have taken such a big pride, and it's something that is part of human nature, irrespective of which background you're from as well. When it comes to informal settlements that are out there, and some of the areas where people are impoverished, there's definitely been a movement in terms of people having like that level of dignity and that pride. And I think that there is a lot of healing through the country in South Africa because of that. So, and I truly believe that. I will fight on this hill. I mean it when I say that, seeing what I've seen because of the work that I do as well. I've got to go all throughout different areas as well. And I've definitely seen an immense level of dignity and self-respect in all the different areas throughout the country as well. So I think that speaks to people's mentalities improving. And there's so much growth that's happening in our country. And unfortunately, the light is usually shed on the negativity, but not really shed on the positivity, and how, like, if you go around in any sort of suburb or informal area at all, and you greet people and you're kind to people, people will absolutely be amazing to you if you just give them like the same respect, the same level of respect. And I absolutely believe that. So that's not a critique in any way. I'm actually a very big advocate for the fact that I've seen a country come from, when I was younger, informal settlements were very much like in a lot of ways put together for just for the basic means of survival. And now in recent years as well, there's been so much more emphasis on people, having that level of civilization as well, because people want to live in a better, improved area. People don't want to live like, that's why I believe that if we can start removing the corruption in South Africa, there's a lot more opportunity that could be created, and a lot less unemployment, and therefore a lot less crime, because unfortunately they are connected.
They are. Yes, they are. Unemployment and despair, it breeds crime. It really does.
Did that kind of answer, because I know that I had, it was a little bit long-winded, but I hope that answered your question, Slippery.
I believe Mythbusters did a test on cabin fever. They tested them. I believe it was a myth they tested about it, that specific topic. But anyway, at what I remember, it was every person reacted differently on cabin fever. They didn't react the same way. So you might not react the same way Bob do, or Bob might react on a total different way than you do, and I will probably react in a total different way myself. So
yeah,
it's
we're all different.
Yeah, so that means you need to approach every individual separately, because you can't handle this all the same way. You can't do that. You can't approach it the same way. You need to have different approaches to handle if there is 3 people who suffer from it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, fortunately, I really as long as I know that my family is secure and safe, I don't mind my own company at all. I really don't mind for long periods of time. That's why the motorcycle also works with me the way it does, because I can be happy, doing solo tasks as well. And pretty much, if it's for business, going to another city, traveling on the motorcycle alone. And I've spent a lot of time alone in my life, and I'm grateful for that. And that's why I think that just being comfortable with who I am, and who I am specifically, today, and the kind of just the personality that I have, and who I really am deep down, I'm perfectly comfortable with not needing people. In fact, as I've gotten older, my friendship circle has definitely gotten smaller, because I've chosen, I will definitely choose quality over quantity. So
yes, important there, my friend. Quality people is more important than quantity.
I agree. 100%.
In fact, I'm a few years older than you are, Guardian, and I saw it with my parents and myself. As you get older, your friends, the numbers of friends and acquaintances reduces, because it's kind of a survival thing, that where you don't want to have unreliable people around you, because they do you harm. And it's a process of elimination. And my parents did it, and I'm doing the same thing, because here's this person here who will lie to you, even if it's a small lie, and they continue telling small lies. Well, that's a personality that I don't want around me, and you must go. I look at it as a survival method. Reducing harmful people around you. So
yeah, and harmful in several ways. It doesn't always need to be physical and violence, in any sort of assault kind of way. It can genuinely be people that just enjoy you feeling. You'll be surprised that there are people that would actually enjoy you being in a negative space, whether it be emotionally or
Yes.
whether you be like, it's weird how there are people, and it's sociopathic behavior, right? Like it's definitely an element of that. And
Yes.
it's like you'll find people that are also narcissists, that they're abundant throughout society. And there's definitely people that will go out of their way to rather have you in a bad spot, like emotionally, like in many ways. So and they might, and even if you're as friendly as you possibly can be, and if you put all your heart and your trust into certain people, they can still potentially very much let you down. And I think that comes with age as well, Bob. With what you're saying, I think that it is something where, as we're heading through our lives, we definitely learn. That whole statement, it's better to have 4 quarters than how many pennies or something, 100 pennies, whatever. It's definitely comes down to that. And slippery pickle, I'm really sorry that that's happening on your side. I think that, read specifically what slippery pickle's mentioning there. Like there's an almost SHTF occurring in some places when it comes to scenarios like that. But then you've got to realize, like 2,000 squatters, like that many people in informal settlements, and then all those people, if they've been pushed out of a specific area, or if they've incentivized the population growth in the country. So there is unfortunately a large scale of people that are out there that are basically becoming like getting into their teen years as well, where they're just looking for jobs and they don't really have much opportunity. And also a lot of like young people, in their young adults. And what happens is that because, and I will say it straightforward, what it is in that scenario, it's because of that high level of corruption and thievery and it happens throughout the world. I'm not picking at any specific governments. I'm saying that thievery occurs in all the different governments across the world. I'm not saying that ours is specifically the only one, because it happens everywhere. But unfortunately, when there is as little as there is in our country in terms of resources, and then what there is does get stolen and squandered. And if you look at where we are on the corruption index in South Africa, you start seeing like that there's a much more dire problem, and there's consequences for that. And unfortunately, over time, there will be an easing of that. That doesn't help your situation at all right now, slippery pickle. Like me saying that, over several decades, the country will be able to restore itself, and we very much have a capacity to get back on where we should be. But I'm speaking from a country that's been, as many of you know, South Africa is like it's really has its major problems. But I think that the corruption is being lowered over time. And I think that as we're going through certain leadership in the country, I don't know if anybody knows and they recalls the past leadership to what we have right now, many would say that there was much more corruption that occurred maybe a decade ago to 2 decades ago, 3 decades ago. There was much more corruption in the beginning of the change of our country. And fortunately, that is starting to ease. And the more people, and this occurs globally, the more people that have access to, that must be horrible, man. Like, I don't even if anybody actually can imagine being in Slippery's situation and like what that would feel like, where there's just, because that also brings in elements of crime, because a lot of these people are desperate, and it also reduces the feeling that a person has to feel safe, because then on their property, now all of a sudden they've got an immense amount of people. And then what happens is if you turn to the police turn their backs on you when it comes to a scenario like that. And you'll actually go and appeal it and nothing will happen. And they'll laugh at you, and the police will actually laugh in your face at trying to restore some sort of justice to your property. So when it comes to that, I absolutely know how bad it is. But my main point about what I'm saying about the progression of the country is that I do believe that it will be better, and that there is, because of the information that the youth have, there is a lot of people that are capable of building up the country. But I just think that what is happening at the moment, where we're actually potentially going to remove the BEE from our country because BEE has been exploited, and that's a whole different topic. But it has been exploited over time, and they are looking at being able to, remove the BEE in the country so that it is much more fair and equal. And if anybody wants to argue that, you can put yourself in a scenario and realize what the BEE is over here in South Africa. It's a policy that's extraordinarily I'm not even going to go down that rabbit hole. I'm going to tell you 100% that it is time for that to be amended, and because anybody underneath the age of 30 has to experience an extreme level of prejudice against them, and I'm speaking about people that are from minority groups, and which is the minority groups in South Africa being Caucasian. So those people cannot even get jobs if they get put up against the matters of which I speak. I've never spoken on live streams before because it is extremely dangerous territory. So I tread very lightly around this topic for good reason.
I understand that, Guardian. We are not going down through rabbit holes we don't want to.
Yes, sir. But yeah, he is in a SHTF. Slippery in his situation is basically if the lights had to go off and there was a term, for long-term isolation and boredom, speaking on that topic, Shadow, if there was a scenario like that, Slippery is in a very, very dangerous position because there are a lot of people right now that are barely scraping through. What do you think happens when the lights turn off? Like, you know what I mean? Like if the lights go out.
that would explode.
Yep, it's a powder keg, exactly. I like that you acknowledge that and understand it.
That would explode, and when it really explode, you can't stop it. You don't have the resources or power enough to do it. So
it's going to go one of two ways.
Especially not alone.
Yeah, it's going to go one of two ways. Either the country's going to consistently improve and things are going to get better, or we're going to have an SHTF and then it's going to be a real SHTF over here because the current situation, adding more pressure onto that would genuinely be like a really, really, really bad situation for the people around here. I think in anywhere, really, but it's intense here.
Oh, this is from my missus, actually. She has a question. Number 1. Hello, people. Just a question. Do you guys think people easier get cabin fever, feeling isolated and things like that than they did for 10, 20, and 30 years ago? First when internet came, and then cell phones that worked almost everywhere, and now with smartphones and the ability to be in contact with people all the time. We are so used to it by now, so how fast would we see symptoms of cabin fever if it disappear? Well, in my opinion, if the cell towers is down, well, that would be really difficult to use the phone.
Okay, well, I'm just sitting here with you folks. I just took this candle glass and washed it off in the sink with soap and water to begin with, and we'll start the polishing process while we're hanging out here talking.
Well, Bob, this is from the missus, by the way.
You guys think people even feeling isolated things? Yeah, it's a good question.
I think we would see more quickly cabin fever when the cell towers are down.
Yes, it's we've all become so reliant and addicted to internet. If that's gone, oh man, there's a lot of people who are going to be struggling with what do I do now. And we didn't, when I was growing up, we didn't have the internet, so my generation will have a little bit of a leg up because I remember when we didn't have it and the things that we did to stay busy, to stay occupied. We read books, go out walking, climbing trees, riding bicycles.
Yeah.
We're far more physically active when I
Yeah,
was growing up.
I can just be in. That's why hiking is also really good for me, because like I can hike and I can be completely away from all music. In fact, I hate it when there's any music, like when I'm in a hiking environment. Like I want it to be just that natural sound. And then also even I can be in the garden and just look around at plants for like 2-3 hours, completely sober, go out there just
Oh, yeah.
100% and enjoy nature. And that's a movie to me. I can be entertained through that. And that's something where I really do appreciate the fact that I grew up initially in a world where the cell phones that we had were just for phoning and maybe a text message or two. That was basically what phones initially were, you know. And then the implementation of Snake 1 as a little game back then, and then Snake 2, the game where you run around on the screen and you eat these little blocks, and it was all pixelated and stuff. So to see the advent of all of the technology being introduced, I definitely believe that it's one of those great things to just be mindful and be present without needing distraction and without needing consistent dopamine injections from all of that nonsense, right? Like just being happy to be still, being happy to genuinely be in the moment, and then not to catch yourself thinking into the past, into like, you know, into anything in the past, or thinking too much into the future as well. Just really trying to be present. It's the best thing that you can ever possibly do. I'm just going to finish coffee quickly. I'll be right back, Bob.
I agree, Guardian. I do the same thing myself out on the back deck and watch the honeybees gather nectar, and the hummingbirds come by gathering nectar, and watch the crows drink out of the water basins that I put out for them, and just put my feet up and just be still, be mindful. You know, it's actually good for your soul and your mental health. It's very good for you.
Yeah, good point.
Plants. Oh, I love plants. I do. I don't know why I do, but I don't fight it. I can really take a moment and observe a plant and how its imperfection is perfect in every way because it's not man-made. It's made by itself.
Yeah.
Do you understand what I mean?
Yeah.
Observe its perfection as it is, because that plant knows they're a living being and they know what's best for them, and they grow in their way. It's I love botany. I always have horticulture and botany. I love it. I love it. I love it.
There's so many different species out there as well. There's so many different like subspecies, and like to learn the names and to actually start the journey of learning and familiarizing yourself with plant names and the Latin names as well. Because if you know the Latin family names, you start identifying them a lot easier, because a lot of them have the naming system for plants. Once you start learning a little bit about like how they kind of have it laid out, it's brilliant. And it's such a beautiful thing, like to actually really have that connection between us and the natural world. And I think that there's a lot of strength that you can gain from that. And that's where, you know, without speaking about religion more of on a spiritual level, I definitely gain a lot of, you know, healing from gardening and from being out there hiking.
Absolutely.
And seeing the creation. And that's why I think that it was I'll say it for a second, where it was just slightly misunderstood as to what I was saying last week about that. Was more, I was, you know, basically for the most part, everybody who knows me knows that like I do definitely derive a lot of that spirituality from being in the wilderness and from being like out there in the garden and from like acknowledging that there is a creator out there.
Absolutely.
Whether people want to believe that or not, and that creator is a creator of love and understanding. That's all I'll say about that topic, and that should be enough for people to think about. Like, you know, like it stretches thing. But I think that when you look at nature and how nature kind of works together, and how like plants actually like that's what I'm saying. If you're getting into a situation for long-term isolation and boredom, you can definitely get a lot. Like, yeah, well said, Slippery. Latin is very descriptive with plants. Like, it's so interesting, and there's so many subgroups. But if you look at the way that plants, and even crown canopy, what is the thing with the canopy? What is it called again? Crown shyness. Yes, crown shyness. So like crown shyness is a remarkable element of nature where trees actually acknowledge. And if you're ever bored, look around at the trees, look around at the plants, and get used to enjoying the visual appeal of them. I agree with you 100%, Bob. I'm major into plants. I'm addicted. I love it.
Yeah, that's why I have plants in my house and outside. It broke my heart. I had another house plant got full of soil gnats, and I've had a fight with them before, and I know that it's not a fight you're going to win. So I had to take one of my house plants that I've had for 15 years, and it was just saturated with them. So I took that plant, dropped it into the trash can, and it broke my heart. But
well, you can. That was the only option you had.
Yeah, because otherwise the rest of the plants would be infected too. Yeah.
You need to protect your other plants.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So there's it leans on a scenario that I had recently when I had a whole bunch of aphids, and obviously aphids, when there's numerous amounts of them, can completely wipe out a crop. But if you're able to use a trap crop, like we've got all those nasturtiums growing in the food forest, and the nasturtiums, they ended up targeting the nasturtiums and not the young growing trees. So they left the trees alone for the most part, and they went straight for the nasturtiums. So a trap crop like that is ridiculously powerful. And the fact that I could just remove like big sections of the aphid population. Obviously, you're also looking out for the ladybugs that are attacking, and I was speaking about this earlier on another stream. Bob's actually familiar with the crew that I'm busy speaking about as well. Those guys, great bunch of guys, very down-to-earth, realistic people, and I love them. But for the most part, like when it comes to this, having that trap crop and having those aphids go onto them, and then being able to remove all of those clumps of them. And now what's happened is the aphid population is completely gone. There's several of the nasturtiums that are left there that are actually all repopulating again. So the purpose of that trap crop to actually do away with those aphids is remarkable. Like the way that you can kind of like help nature to take care of itself. And I think that we can be shepherds, you know, we can definitely be shepherds of the garden, and we can learn so much about it. And when you said that you had to throw that indoor plant away, Bob, it's one of those things as well where in the garden, like the imperfection, you were speaking about it as well, where imperfection, right? And it's like you acknowledge that things will die, and that's the natural ebb and flow of life. Like there will be plants and crops that don't make it, and there will be plants and crops that actually start struggling in an area depending on their lighting and how much water they're getting, how much water you're giving them, and the position, because you usually have your water run where you like water specific areas of the garden more than others, most people do. And those areas, you actually start learning which plants really get a bit finicky with having too much waterlogged soil, and then other plants as well. So all of these processes, when you're out there in the wilderness and you need to recreate or you need to propagate plants that are out there that you basically have to like survive off, you should know as much as you can when it comes to food, like when it comes to plants as possible, because you will be able to eat and feed a community off of plants if you know what you're doing. Like, that's where like, and it reduces boredom. Like you can do gardening out there in a survival long-term situation. And you can, if you really have your bases covered, why not get creative and actually make your area that you're like in, you know, bring in certain other plants and species from different areas. You can use defensive gardening as well in an SHTF. So you can actually bring in spiny and like protective plants that are like, you know, cacti, for example, some thorny species of plants. You can bring those in and you can use them as a barrier around your bug out location. So when it comes to eliminating boredom, man, it's good. Yeah, that's good stuff.
I agree.
This is good stuff here. This is a metal polish that I'm going to use on glass. But
nice.
What I've done, I ran across the video here on YouTube, which is the University of YouTube. I swear. I put tiny wooden dowels sticking straight up in my trees and different locations around the front and the back of my house for dragonflies. It's a dragonfly perch, and they sit right on top of a 1/8 inch dowel and just sit there and they perch, and they're monitoring and they eat the insects that are in your garden. And I remember I made a video about that, and I was sitting on my back deck and just hanging out, and I turned my camera on, and there was dragonflies sitting on those little perches. I went, by God, it works. And now we got predators, natural predators out there monitoring all of my flowers and my strawberries. Like, boom. Yeah.
That's brilliant. That's what I'm speaking about. Guarding nature in that way. And you're basically like facilitating for like the benefit of the plants. You keep them like, protected in that way. That's amazing. I'm actually going to definitely try that. I know that dragonflies are like, I don't know how, I think it was about a good couple of months ago where I was doing just a bit of a deep dive with my wife, and I was speaking about different like insects specifically. And the dragonflies are like just amazing, like pests, like little insects as well. They're the king of the insect world. Like they really are. They're amazing. Goodbye for now, Parkland.
I'm not going to grow any more nasturtiums around the rest of my flowers next year. I'm just not going to do it. I got ladybugs, dragonflies, and all that, and I tried to stop the ants from colonizing the nasturtiums. So I will grow one pot of nasturtiums far away from the rest of my flowers. But next year's flowers will be petunias that the aphids don't like, and strawberries. Nothing messes with the strawberries. And I have got an abundant amount of strawberries that I've taken the runners and dropped them into pots full of my homemade soil. And even, they're just going crazy, man. There's Mrs.
Yeah, that's the Mrs.
Hey, nice to meet you. Hello. Hi.
Guardians, nice to meet you.
Nice car kit, by the way. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm glad you liked it.
That's so sweet, Shadow. It's very, very nice. I think, it's those people in our life that are closest to us that also end up showing us who we are as well, and just to have like that companionship sometimes in life is so key, to have people that are close to you. It's good.
I love my wife. I love to irritate the hell out of her.
Yeah, wait until she get cabin fever. Let's see how much you would like her then.
Oh boy, yeah.
I don't think there's anything wrong with teasing, Bob. I really don't.
Nothing.
Think that can
None
be
of it's
good fun.
None of it's malicious,
Yeah, of course.
Well,
it builds a friendship.
She's a legal immigrant here to the U.S. and ICE raids and immigration stuff is all over the place. And I'll just tell her, Mrs., I'm expecting some breakfast. If I could call ICE on you and send you to Alligator Alcatraz. That's one of the ways I tease her,
Yeah, I don't even know. Like there's so much craziness happening over there by you guys, Bob. Like,
oh boy, yeah. Unfortunately, so much of the mass media, the legacy media, and podcasters are focusing on the wrong things. The trauma, the drama, the harmful things. They don't really bring out good news. And there's a lot of good news here in this country. This is a great country to live in,
I agree. I absolutely do. And like on that whole topic is such a deep dive as well. I think that I am always for doing things the right way, and I'm for doing things like abiding by the law. And if you are entering, if I was to enter any country illegally, I would be doing a wrong thing. Like that's wrong.
And it's wrong. It's wrong.
I cannot tell you how much I love the United States and like what the US represents. and what it's always represented, that no matter where you're from, if you work hard enough and if you're a good enough person, you can basically make it out there in the US. And that's always been the fundamental belief, no matter which background you have. So,
hey, Hendo, good to see you.
I do definitely
believe
that you should be cautious, and it comes down to making sure that you do the right thing. That's why if you're going against the law and you're entering the US illegally, you shouldn't be there. I'm sorry, but I understand that there might be reasons at home. There's reasons here in South Africa why I'd want to leave, but leaving would be illegal. So going into another country illegally would be wrong. There's right and wrong, and we know wrong.
South Africans are welcome here. You guys are so welcome here. Come here. Yeah. But I ran into an incident. I know it's not about boredom, but in the coffee shop, one of the baristas, Brittany, she does the custom sewing for me and different things. She's a bit of a leftist because she was squealing and screaming about how some American citizen accidentally got grabbed and got sent to El Salvador, and my return argument was, as you know, my wife and 2 children are legal immigrants here. My wife and I got the paperwork. We followed it step by step. And she and the children immigrated here to the States legally. It takes longer than coming across the border illegally, but it's actually cheaper than paying a coyote. So I kind of ended the topic with that. And I put my headphones on, took a bite out of my sandwich, and I'm not going to change somebody's mind. I just stated the facts, that it's easy to follow the process. It is expensive and it's a pain in the ass, but it can be done. And if my wife and I can figure out how to do it, anybody can do it. Put my headphones on, took a bite out of my sandwich, drank my coffee.
That's the thing. It really comes down to that. It really does. And I think that it's just right from wrong. And we all know in your heart, yes, there are situations that are sad, and I get that.
I get it.
It's unfortunate, and hopefully we can fix those countries where people are having to flee from. That'd be the best thing if those countries can become a lot better. And my genuine hope is for people to not suffer. I don't want people that are having to leave because of crime and gangsterism that's overridden. Learn to be much harsher in that country against the crime. If people are convicted, don't let them out of don't let somebody that's been a violent criminal, multiple offender, once they've shown that they can't get along with others in society, then they don't belong in society. I agree. I don't understand. That's a no-brainer, right? You're jeopardizing the safety and the livelihood of the rest of the citizens and population because you're wanting to be soft on crime and you let some person out 4 or 5 times, even though that they've been convicted 100% of I just don't get it. I'm sick of crime, and I really don't give a shit.
And those are the people that I have to guard my family from. Those people, because they don't have a conscience. And deep down, I feel that they're evil. And they have no limits. They will do whatever they want, take whatever they want, harm whoever they want. And I guard my family with my life away from people like that because they go away for a few days and then they come right back into society. Learn from our grandparents. Our grandparents put these people in big warehouses with bars on the windows for a reason. There's a reason why they did that. It's because they're monsters, But
no, there are people that you can't. There are people that have lost all sense of sympathy or compassion for the fellow man, and they don't give a damn about hurting others. And those people don't deserve to be around normal civilians that are trying sometimes very hard against all the life's possibilities. And then you'll get a criminal that wants to live a criminal life that will come and take complete advantage and assault and basically inflict mass damage upon families because they need their fix, to put it bluntly. I just don't. I really don't have time for crime anymore, and I'm becoming like more and more harder as I'm getting older against crime. Like I really am. So
Yeah,
I think that in long-term isolation, and I'm trying to
Hey,
bring it back.
Vanessa.
Can I just say, Shadow, you have a very, like, I don't know, like if you ever wanted to, but I wouldn't, I know that myself or none of the guys would mind if, or how good your wife is with English. Like if you ever wanted to like invite your wife onto a panel, I don't think that that'd be a bad thing. And I will say that sometimes I think having just one or two female voices on our panels can maybe be good. It would encourage, I think, other people to perhaps join. And that's also sometimes, and I'll be realistic with you, the reason why my wife doesn't always want to join, because she doesn't want to feel like she's joining like a guy's chat or something. You know what I mean? So occasionally it won't be too bad. And I don't have any problem with it whatsoever. If we do have some of the women that do want to join the panels and come on and chat, because it would be interesting, because then you get more ideas flowing together. Women definitely bring a hell of a lot sometimes into like general conversations, and they add a different dynamic sometimes. And I think that it'd be good. So that's just
the reason for that is they look at things from a different angle than we do.
They do, that 100%. And when you combine the male and female together, hey, you know, it all works out. You know, if you can compromise with the female in your house, man, things work out pretty well. You know,
it's amazing. I have learned so much for like 12 to it's almost 13 years now with my wife and I that we've been in very close proximity for the most part. We both work remotely, and we have done so for about a decade now. So we are in each other's space consistently, and I wouldn't have it any other way. I never get tired or sick or bored of my partner. I definitely think that we chose quite wisely between her and I. I say more from myself because, you know, I can speak about myself from that side as well. And yeah, just it really has taught me so much about myself that I can't even like begin to explain.
Hey, Sandy, good to see you.
That's good. Welcome in. Hey. So yeah, Shadow, what I'm saying in short is if you're more than welcome. Like I know that we'd all be happy for you to at some point. If you ever wanted to, you can discuss it and maybe like bring it up. You know, you can discuss it after the stream and tomorrow if you want to with your lady, and find out if, you know, if she'd ever be confident and willing to jump up onto the panel, if you know, just for like, even if it is just for a short period. And it's obviously okay if you prefer not to have that way. There might be reasons that I'm not aware of either. So like, I'm always just trying to think of everything, you know, all the possibilities. So yeah, if she wanted to join, I think it'd be a good thing. And I know that my wife will sometimes add a comment in or two as well, but you are only meeting half of me when you're speaking to just me on a panel. You're not getting the full picture of who I really am without her being like able to contribute to some of the things that I say, because sometimes she's a lot more rational and logical than I am. I'm more of the storyteller, you know, a bit more loose-tongued, like a bit more rambly, a bit more, you know, that type of thing. She's the brains to the operation is what I'm saying.
And in my position, my wife came from the other side of the world. And the information I learned from her over the last 20 years is astounding. Because the other side of the world lives a far different life than we do. And how they make it day by day over there, I can learn from that. Women, I love women. I do. I love them. I really do.
It'd be a terrible world without them, Bob. I really mean
it. You're a serial waffler. Oh my God.
It's true. Hendo's known me for many, many years, and Hendo's 100% correct. Hendo comes from South Africa too, and is also very much all over the internet. Like Hendo has connections and resources that would surprise people. I've seen him pop up on panels where I've been like, Hendo's here, that's crazy. That's so awesome. Like, so he's very much connected in a lot of ways, like in different fields of interest across the internet. And yeah, just a good guy all around. And I would never take an insult like as an insult coming from Hendo, because I love the guy so much. I really mean it, like a good brother of mine.
Yeah, Hendo. My wife is Filipina, And if you want to go to Asia for your first time, the Philippines is a good place to go because of English. The vast majority of the population at least understands English. So it's a good country to start with because you can navigate very quickly throughout that country because most of the people have got good English understanding or working knowledge. Some don't, but some do. Many do.
And when it's a kid, he says isolation can kill us or make us resilient in ways we ourselves never realized. I agree.
Well, as I grow older, we touched on this a moment ago. As I grow older, I'm kind of self-isolating myself away from harmful people, but I'm okay with that. But that's just me. I can be alone for hours and days, and I'm
Yeah.
okay with it. Many people can't do that, but I'm doing it self-isolation from harmful people to protect myself and my family. You know, over the decades, I have dismissed so many people because they simply cannot tell the truth. Even if the truth it hurts you, I would rather be hurt than be lied to. And that's one of my fundamentals right there, honesty. You must be an honest person, you know. If you're not an honest person, well, I'm sorry, I don't have room for you.
That's why like good conversations come from honest people as well. And
Yes.
that's why in terms of if I was to be stuck in a very long term kind of scenario as well out there, I would definitely prefer people that would actually be honest with me as well, because then it makes conversation so much more interesting. Because if I've got to second guess everything a person's telling me because I've caught them out on several lies, it's just so like boring and irritating to listen to this person, because you never know if the person's going to be like being honest with you and actually telling you something because they want to fulfill a narrative that they're trying to push, or they want to, you know what I mean? Like, it's definitely a rather tiring scenario having to deal with lies.
Yeah. It's intolerable for me. I do run into that overseas in Asia because some of their cultures there is different than ours. It's called saving face and keeping up appearances. Um, they'll lie, they'll lie to save face. They'll lie to keep up appearances, and that makes my head kind of twist like this. Like, you don't need to do that with me.
Yeah,
You don't need to do that with me. Maybe you do with your neighbors, but with me, you don't need to do that. Just
right.
be honest.
I think it might be, yeah, it may be that. Yeah, Hendo has a good comment there that is brought up. I'm brutally honest and politically incorrect. I think that a lot of people, I'm sure Hendo, you'll notice that a lot of people are tired of just the level of wokeness, that whole woke brigade, right? Like it's getting so irritating. And even though I've for the most part, I've usually been centrist in a lot of ways, and I do understand that people can, be politically inclined whichever way they feel, but I think that like there's a certain level of like just I don't know. I don't want to go too into it, but you guys know exactly what I'm saying without me even saying it. Like the woke thing is I'm very tired of it. Like I'm really just like I want people to be honest. I don't want people to consistently pander to people, and that's the problem with it, right?
Right. I agree. And it's fundamentally the woke movement is dishonesty and basing your life on feelings, not on facts. No, I'm sorry. I don't run with a crowd like that. No, thank you. You know, you stay over there. I'll stay right here. We're good. You know.
And I was thinking about something else. What happens if you are forced into isolation? That
Oh, you mean
will
like
cause that will cause you another whole set of problems.
do you mean like being incarcerated or arrested or something like
Uh,
that? Or
no, not really. But if you, the government says, "Hey, you cannot leave your home
yeah.
because this, like, because of a pandemic or things
Mm-hmm.
like that," they force you to stay in isolation.
We experienced that in the virus days.
Yeah,
It was mandatory for us because Seattle was the first place in the United States to be mandatorily locked down, and they insisted that everyone stay home for like a couple of weeks. And I'd never seen anything quite like that. Um,
how
it was
many would uh, be depressed or get cabin fever in those weeks?
a
How
lot,
many?
a
A
lot.
lot.
I noticed my neighbors. This is when we lived in the other house. My neighbors were really putting the alcohol down because woohoo, let's party. I don't have to go to work tomorrow, and it won't count
Ah,
against my attendance. And um, yeah, I but that lasted about a week, and yeah, pretty soon I see um, couples from different houses outside arguing and fighting with each other because of alcohol, you know. And that was the closest I've ever had to something like that, forcibly isolated, and it wasn't healthy. It was not healthy because a lot of people turn to substance abuse rather than attending to what they really needed to look at. You know, there was one couple down the street from us. They drank 24 hours a day, 7 days a week during the
oh,
isolation. Yeah, they were drunk all day, all night, and
oh
I
Lord.
I remember their direct neighbors. Uh, it almost turned physically violent because one fella had a really pretty wife, and the other drunken guy was getting too close to his very pretty wife. And
Yeah,
I'm sitting there at a distance listening to what they're doing. It was within inches of physical violence because he's he's trying to get into his neighbor's wife's pants is what he's trying to do, and he got caught. And yeah, that's from my own observations. But no, believe me, brother, I stayed the hell away from that stuff. You know.
that's good.
Hmm.
Because
But
there
his,
are always some people who will break the
uh-huh.
isolation anyway and
Yep,
break
they did.
the.
They did.
Yeah.
Well,
And what happens then? They will break into other people, break
yeah,
into stores and looting and things like that. And, and some people get totally nuts
they
when
do.
they're isolated in their homes
I
because they are not prepared for it.
I recall the one wife that was very pretty. She had a great figure, cute butt and legs. And after all that incident happened with her husband going after the neighbor guy,
Yeah.
and a few days later, she walked down to my place, and I mean, she's like an irresistibly beautiful woman for most guys. And she leaned across my welding machine and stuck her butt out and went, really seductive, looked at me and goes, I need a really good welder. And I was like, bitch. Uh,
That does not
I
work
know
on
what you're
me.
doing. It worked with the other guy, but it ain't working with me. Oh, I need my bicycle frame welded. And I just told her, go to your husband. Don't come here for that. I'm not going to weld anything for you. You know, yeah. There's that. That's why, in my own experience, if anything really goes sideways, I'm not going to click up with a bunch of people. I'm not going to do it because there's always that chance that you get your teeth knocked out because you looked at someone's wife the wrong way. You know, I could avoid that by staying back and stay away from people. You know, but, there we go. That one's all polished and cleaned up. These are some of the things that I did during the COVID lockdown to keep my hands busy, and that's going to go back in my windowsill looking like $1 million. I just showed you guys how I do it at home. Soap and water first, and then use some of this. This is a really good metal polish, never dull. It's a cotton batting that's got like a solvent in it.
Okay.
Tear off a piece of it. And I found out accidentally that it actually polishes glass. So metal polishing and glass right there. I do wear some gloves while I use it.
That's a good point.
There you go. And there you have it. I bought this big glass thing from a secondhand store for pennies on the dollar. It's cut glass and looks like $1 million now.
Yeah.
Nice work, Pablo. It looks good.
Thank you. I'll be right back. I'll go put this back.
All right, brother.
Good point, Savage. Vanessa says, I try to help give answers and perspectives here the best I can. You always do, Vanessa. You always do. Isolation and boredom is a problem. You can prepare for it, but no, you can. I would guess you can prepare at some point for it, but oh, Fire Dr. Ninja Turtle. Good to see you, Daryl. Good to see you. Thanks for stopping by. Okay, I'm listening while setting up my RV in its new home. Good idea. Not okay. That the first word I can't even get anything some sensible from, but
yeah, there's nothing wrong with letting a man participate. They can sometimes offer something. They think differently, but you don't have to judge. But you have to judge the good ones from the bad ones.
Some
will use like physique and stuff as well to entice like the opposing gender.
I got the experience to be sent on almost every remote station in the Arctic in the early 80s. Yeah, Vanessa. That is few who can be up that far north. Some people who are stationed that far north get cabin fever. Believe it or not, because they can't handle it because it's some so remote area that Even if they have people around them, they can even suffer from the cabin fever anyway. Sandy says, we had a frost here, 26 Fahrenheit, so garden is done for now to clean up the dead plants. Yeah. We went and camped in the most remote places with just a handful of people, 3 or 5, sometimes 5. I flew into places and SAF pilots were determined not to go. In constant daylight.
Some incredible.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm just saying some incredible places that you've definitely been able to see through that VK. Some places that people wouldn't even believe exist, you know, like certain areas like that side of the world that hardly anyone ever gets the opportunity to go there.
Yeah.
Give me 1 minute real quick. I'll be right back, Shadow.
Yeah, right, no problem.
Bob's going to be back here in a moment as well.
Yeah. Something special happens when you realize the pilots are afraid to fly somewhere. Yeah. Depends on your psychological makeup. Yeah. I agree with that. Definitely. Every one of us has our own psychological makeup. Stay focused and appreciate always what you have. I agree with that, Savage. Yeah, U.S. Air Force pilots, yeah. CB says, gotta watch out for those men trying to get our attention with their sexuality. It happens to us women regularly throughout our day, men flaunting themselves. It's just terrible. Yeah, CB. I always flew out with my gear in 2 bags, my fishing gear and hunting gear too, always packed and ready to go. Well, that's good, Vanessa. I'm a lot like Bob in many ways. I feel better when I can keep folks at arm's length, so to speak. I will admit I have some trust issues. Very, very long story. You don't need to mention it, that long story, Diggs. I think we get the point anyway. Iron Dimazone does I go to the coffee shop and the men are flexing and bending over. Just awful. Stay strong, ladies. Yeah.
What's that?
I'm glad I grew up tall. I got to look many directly in their eyes when trouble was brewing. Yeah, good point. When you're that far north, I do think alcohol becomes a valuable survival tool like human antifreeze. Yeah.
Yeah.
Some people have, well, if you're alone and isolated, well, that is difficult.
Yeah.
Especially if it's for a long period of time.
Yeah. That I don't see how people in prison can survive.
I don't get that either. I think many get crazy.
They do.
At some point. Hey, Darren, good to see you.
I've watched different documentaries about the prisons here in the United States and abroad, and what they call supermax for the worst of the worst, where they're placed alone in a cell and they're only allowed out 1 hour every few days.
Yeah.
and they're in complete isolation. Many of them
Yeah.
do go insane. They're and they'll never be able to be brought back. Um, I never ever want to be in a situation like that.
I wouldn't be like to be in that situation either.
No.
Well, it might, if you're have a real bad luck and your family's out and you are alone at home and a disaster happens and you get isolated for weeks.
Yeah, that's
That
very possible.
That's possible.
Mm-hmm.
So that can definitely make you crazy and me crazy too. Because
yeah, that is a concern. In my area is very mountainous, deep gorges, steep mountains, and the highway system has got so many bridges just to get from city to city. And example is if we have a very powerful earthquake that brings many of those highway bridges down, people are going to be cut off from each other for a long time. And yeah, I couldn't imagine. I mean, if my wife was not able to get home,
yeah,
that
if
would,
she was stuck at the hospital,
yeah, that's is possible. Now hospitals do have a policy to where nurses and doctors, they'll maintain some beds for them so they can stay there, you know.
yeah,
And but the families that they leave behind, uh, that would not be good for my mental health if I, if I can't see my wife for 6 months and she's only a few miles away. That would not be healthy for me, you know.
that would take that trip to her work would take probably, let's say, 20 minutes with car to drive,
Right,
and you're
right.
just stuck for alone for 6 months, and it takes 20 minutes to drive. Oh, that would drive me nuts.
And to go there on foot would take a couple of days because of the crevasses and the
Yeah,
mountains. And at my age and my health, that's dangerous for me, you know. I mean,
yeah, that uh, would
I
be
wouldn't
if
do it.
that would take days, as
Mhm.
you say, that would be a high risk that you would not
Yeah,
reach.
yeah. At my age and
No,
my health, I would be just another statistic to drop dead out there
oh,
in the bushes
yeah,
somewhere, you know. Yeah. Yeah, that is a concern because that's why we talk frequently about what will you do? What should I do? What should you do? You know, and I've
yeah,
urged my wife, if at all possible, stay in the hospital or the clinic itself, or go home with one of the Filipinos who live nearby, because Filipinos will always take in other Filipinos. The floor is
yeah,
open for you to sleep on, the couch, but so that's kind of the plans that we've come up on our own. Go with someone another Filipino who will take care of you, or stay right there, you know.
yeah. And even let's say if you would be able to reach your missus' work, that place might be cut off as well. So you can't
Yeah,
even.
yeah,
Well, what are you going to do then?
uh-huh.
Walk back home? Uh-uh.
Yeah, if I haven't got some way to be able to lay down and get rest and resupply,
Yeah,
baby. Yeah, here's another statistic right here, found dead in the bushes from exhaustion or whatever, yeah, or drinking dirty water,
yeah.
or, you know.
Or especially in winter,
Oh, in winter, no, no,
that would be.
that would be a death sentence for someone my age, dead. I mean, seriously. If I got wet and
Yeah.
cold and I can't get warm again, oh no, 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 no. That's why we have an agreement. You stay where you're at, do the best you can. I'm going to stay here, you know. Yes,
Yeah.
exposure. Very well said, CR. Very well. Dude, CR, where the hell have you been? I haven't seen you around for weeks. It ain't right, man. I haven't
I think
fired anybody in weeks.
I
What the
hope
hell?
that CR joins as well now, because I'm going to run for a bit. My missus and I are going to watch a show for a bit as well. I might be back a bit later, but I hope that CR does jump on. That'd be really nice. Like it definitely, like it always brings a lot of element to a conversation. So
Yeah.
you think that it is time to get fired, CR? I must say, like it's just yeah, no, like it's a whole kettle of fish, really. I will definitely be back a bit later, perhaps. But yeah, always good chatting to you guys. Love the streams, and yeah, it's a very interesting topic. I think if I can leave with just saying this, it all comes down to a mind state, the psychology of long-term isolation and boredom. It comes down to like what I said originally about being comfortable with yourself if you are caught isolated, and not allowing your mind to like start stressing, because that can lead to like an avalanche effect, and you can eventually have like anxiety and high level of stress, and your cortisol levels get messed up. So basically, you start being depressed as well. So like this, and then your dopamine is impacted because of that. So it's like it all leads to each other. My main point that I'm making is just maintain calm at all times, and that's the best thing that you can possibly do. And have
Yeah.
fun with the small things. Try and pick up on the silver linings. Like try and find things that are perhaps humorous to you in the middle of nowhere. Like humor can be a good thing. But yeah, good. Have a good one, Slippery. I see you all heading out. Goodbye for now, guys, and hopefully
All
see you all.
right.
Cheers all. Bye.
All right.
Thanks for stopping by, Guardian.
Later, Guardian.
But that is something we never talked about that much either. That we can be isolated alone from your family.
Yeah, that would be hard for me. It would be very hard. Yeah.
Yeah, that would be pretty tough for me as well. So,
Yeah.
well, every anything can happen, and that is a possible situation that actually can happen. So, what can we do about to prevent that and to stay sane if that would happen?
Yeah. Yeah, and for me, giving an example of like polishing glass and making fire starters, that helps me. But not everybody thinks the same way I do. Yeah.
That works for
Some.
you, and something
Uh-huh.
else works for me, and something else works for the missus. And well,
Yep. Yeah, my wife, all she has to do is have a book, and that will keep her occupied for day after day after. Just read a book, and I'm not one of those. I'm too high strung to be able to just sit there for days, and read. I'm just not one of those people. I have to have something to do.
yeah, I
Oh,
can read for a couple of hours, and then I need to put that down and do something else.
yes,
So
same here. Same here. I forgot to give Guardian a compliment on that kit that he's got with the games for the family. That's
yeah,
really well thought out.
yeah,
Compliment,
that's
man.
a brilliant.
Brilliant,
That's a
actually.
brilliant.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Games. Yeah, that keeps you occupied. And solitaire and things like that. That keeps you in mind. Or crosswords.
Yeah.
Whatever.
I've been abroad many times, and years ago I used to bring crossword puzzle books on the airplane with me,
Yeah.
but
Well, that keeps your mind, brain occupied
yeah, for a bit, and
for a bit.
yeah, for me, I'm one of those guys that I have to get up and walk up and down the fuselage a few times. I've got to. get my legs, get the blood flow back in my legs, you know. And
Yeah.
I do see people, because you're on an airplane and you're surrounded by hundreds of people that you don't know. I see many people will bring their laptop and connect to the Wi-Fi in the
Yeah.
airplane and do their work or whatever. Um, I've tried that too. I usually what I do, because it is a form of isolation. You're stuck. You can't go anywhere. You're in that little metal tube for hours and hours. And
Yeah, especially if it's a long flight on 15, 20-hour flight. Yeah.
yeah, anytime you leave the U.S. and go abroad, you're a minimum of 10 hours to get to another destination, minimum. You know, and my policy during those times is they've got movies built into the seat in front of you or on the projector, and I'll watch a movie and then get up and walk from the nose to the tail of the airplane a half a dozen times, then come back to my chair and go, what do I do now? I got another 8 hours of you know. And the
Yeah.
truck is
When
the
my
same way. That's right.
yeah, a couple of many years ago, my mother flew to New York, uh, and she's told me that it took 14, 15 hours or so.
Yeah.
That's a long flight for.
Yeah. It is. It is. Yeah. It is. And oh, yeah. I know. Eventually, we'll go back see the family in the Philippines again. You know, but
Yeah.
yeah, that's about all we can do because my wife always is seated next to me, wife or daughter, and make random small talk. But
Yeah.
you know, even on the airplane, I irritate her sometimes. I reach underneath my armpit and poke her in the ribs. Point. Wasn't me, hon. I don't know who you're talking about.
Yeah, and you get the evil eye for doing that. Yeah. Everyone has been in that situation. You get really bored, and that's
Yeah.
not fun. And that's not fun. You have
Mm-hmm.
no idea what you want to do. Nothing, and that is not a fun.
It's
It's
very
not.
hard. It's hard for me to sleep on an airplane. Is I worked on them for so many years. I know what every sound is. And when they change the angle of the flaps or the ailerons are going up
Yeah,
and down, I hear the hydraulics and like, okay, yeah,
that really nuts.
yeah, yeah. Isolation, God, I have found ways as long as I'm home or I can manage. You know,
Yeah. My At home you can at least keep yourself busy,
yeah,
but it's worse if you are in a hotel room,
yeah. Hotel. Oh boy,
and if you get isolated for some reason in a hotel room and you can't go anywhere.
that's yeah. Yeah, that would drive me nuts. Just sitting there, especially if you're stranded from bad weather, um, you're stuck and there's no transportation.
Yeah,
Oh, what do we do now?
and here's the thing, that is that has happened before, that people get stuck in the hotel rooms and isolated totally for different
Okay,
reasons.
okay, Ciara. I hope you come back. I haven't fired anybody for a while now. It's not, that's a break in the routine. I'm not sure if I can deal with it.
Okay, CR, no problem. Vanessa says mobility today is a great concern. I must keep moving around, but I'm basically at home unless I can get travel somewhere. Yeah.
Just count your blessings while you've got them, Yeah, see you later, CR. Take care. He disappeared for a couple of weeks. What the hell? He's not
Yeah,
allowed.
I have it.
Not allowed. Not allowed to do that, CR. Not allowed.
Well, you can fire him for that.
Yeah, I could. Oh, yeah, I could. Couldn't I? CR, you disappeared for a couple of weeks. You're fired. Yeah, there we go. That made me feel better.
Vanessa says I turned in my DL in August due to med reasons. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Driver's license.
Driver's
Yeah.
license. Yeah.
Yeah.
None of us are getting any younger. I know that.
Actually, it's the same thing here in Sweden. You can actually get your license revoked basically because of medical reasons.
Yes.
Like especially epilepsy, and you are not allowed to drive.
Yeah, epilepsy, diabetes. With it's better to just surrender it than to have it revoked, because if it's revoked, it's be very difficult to get it back.
Yeah. My brother has diabetes, and he has his license. He still has his license, so. But he had the driver's license for a bus, but when he got diabetes, they revoked his bus driver's license. So,
oh no, that must have really tore him up.
You are not allowed to drive passengers if you have diabetes.
Oh, okay. We call that a commercial driver's license here in the States.
Commercial.
Mm-hmm.
So they take your commercial driver's license for if you for some reason get diabetes. And I can understand that.
Certainly.
Because you are responsible for 20 other passengers.
Yes.
Vanessa Kitty says, nervous system dying, turned involuntarily before I caused something regrettable.
True.
Good point, Vanessa.
Uh-huh. Mm-hmm.
That is a good thinking, actually, because most people don't have that mindset, really. They keep driving anyway.
A preventative measure. Yep.
It's better to do it. That I would do that if I get some medical issues that I'm not allowed to drive and that I can't drive anymore. I would go and say, hey, take my driver's license. I got these now, so I can't drive anymore. So
I would do the same. It's better to volunteer to surrender it voluntarily than getting into an accident
and get it forced.
Yeah, or the most unthinkable is getting into an accident and hurting somebody, maybe crippling somebody. Oh, that would be hard to live with. It'd be very
Oh,
difficult
yeah.
for me.
And Dig says that job was close to 14 hours a day that I had to stay on task. So you got boredom and stress at the same time. I smoked like a chimney doing that job. Huh.
Well, hmm
Yeah, I can understand that.
I can too. Yeah, in fact, an event is coming up here in the States that I'll do. Will a little more self-isolation. You and I spoke the other day about how if the federal government has cut off food stamps and food assistance to
Oh,
millions
yeah.
of people, um, that begins the 1st of November. They won't give them more money or
Yeah.
for food, and if that happens, I will still go out probably the first week after that happens, but I will really keep eyes in the back of my head. But that could cause me to stop going to the coffee shop or going to the grocery store. Um,
Yeah.
we're okay with food, and I've even got extra coffee stored up and all that. We'll be okay, but that could drive it into a change of my life.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
Let's
but
hope not.
yeah, let's hope. I hope they can get it all sorted out, and um, so we don't have to go down that path.
Or
If
otherwise, you can get cut off and isolated.
Yeah, hmm yeah, I would go into self isolation because I'm pretty sure the supermarkets, the grocery stores will still be open here. But the danger is if I go and get my food and start coming from the store to my car. There's your danger zone right there. You know,
Yeah.
uh, I'm okay to be able to stay home and I can just open up some cans of food or some dehydrated food, all that, and I'll be okay. But it'd be frustrating to break my normal routine um, because of somebody else's inability to do their job. You know.
Yeah. Dig says I had three triggers that makes me want to smoke: boredom, stress, and driving. I got all three on that job. Still didn't quit as of yet, but I went from just over 2 packs of Marlboros per day to a half a day.
hmm Yeah.
The conditions to get food stamps is strictly controlled and actually not what a family needs to actually eat.
Mm.
Yeah, I'm not. I don't know that much about food stamps, but you're
Yeah.
probably correct, Vanessa.
I don't know much about it either. I've uh, never needed them, never applied for it or needed it. I've always worked or had an income. You know.
Yeah,
Let's see, is that my wife coming home? Just a sec.
yeah, probably.
Mrs. said Mrs. said she should be home soon and she'll bring home food. So that's a
Yeah,
bonus.
yeah, that's a bonus.
Oh, wait a minute. Let's see. Person with a package that might. Nope. Amazon. Hooray! Amazon, Amazon, Amazon. Woohoo! Let me be right back. I'll go grab that package.
Yeah, before
I
someone else do.
Yeah. Let's hope that don't happen. Be right back.
Yeah. My marriage ended for good in September. 16 years down in the toilet. Yeah. That sucks, Vanessa. But I hope you manage anyway. And I guess that feels a little bit odd. That's tough, Vanessa. That's really tough. Well, Vanessa, you always have us. That's one thing I never experienced, Vanessa. Well, no, because 16 years is a long time. In retrospect, I see that perhaps I should never have entered into personal relationships ever. I should have stayed in Alaska and never returned. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
I'm pretty sure I know what this is.
oh,
Sort of doing an unboxing, sort of on your live here, Shadow.
yeah.
There's
Well,
not enough
that's
room to
fun.
bring it. Yeah, there's not enough room to bring the camera down, but here we go.
That's good, Vanessa. On the isolation front, I'm very good in isolation. Alaska tour proved that. Yeah, you can handle it. Vanessa says,
Okay, we got
nice
one box.
unboxing.
Yeah, kind of. Here's one box inside of another box.
They usually have a big box and then a box into a box into a box.
Yeah, here's the first box, the big one. Here's the second box. I make a lot of that stuff into fertilizer, chop it all up, but oh my God. But yeah, I know what this box is. Dun, 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 dun.
Hey, Diggs, you and I are in the same age. Vanessa says, we got the paving sand in between the patio pavers we made from concrete 2 weeks ago.
There we go. Dun, dun, dun. There it is. And like a good prepper, I ordered another box full of freeze-dried Mountain House meals right here.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that was you ordered
Yeah, this yesterday.
Sunday evening.
Yeah. Well,
Sunday evening for you and Monday morning for me.
Yeah, you and I were chit-chatting when we were talking about the government closure and all that, and I went, I just got a twinge of paranoia, so I ordered another box of Mountain House meals.
Hey, Myra Page, good to see you.
Yeah, this is those assorted meals, I like these. These are actually really good. Classic meal assortment. 3 beef stews, 3 beef stroganoff, 2 chicken fried rice, which is really good, 2 granola with milk and blueberries, and 2 spaghetti with beef marinara sauce. So
well, I've eaten. Nice setup.
Yeah. I talked to some of the folks here in the area, and I asked their opinion on Mountain House, and they said, yeah, it's good. they take it hiking. So when, all right.
Yeah.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
So let's
Mountain
see, we
House
got
is a
how,
good
how
brand.
many meals we got? 3, 6, 8, 10, 12, 6. Yeah, 12 meals. It's a little under $100, but for 12 meals. But here's the situation, all right? Well, my wife and I, we go out on a date night
Yeah.
almost every week, at least once. That right there, including tip, is around $80 for 2 meals.
Yeah.
So I get 12 meals for just a little bit more money. So
Yeah.
do the math, and it is tolerable food. It's pretty good. So yeah, everyone says, no, you can save money if you buy it at this or that. Well, all right, but yeah, you can do a comparison to where the wife and I go out to dinner. That's about $80, including tip, so
Yeah.
do the math. Yeah, all you do with these things here, boil water, take a cup and a half of boiling water, put it into the bag, mix it up, and let it sit for a few minutes and cool down, and then dinner's ready.
Hey, Mike.
Hello.
Hey, Mike.
How you all
crap.
doing?
The Euros outnumber the Americans now. What the heck?
It's a rare thing. It's a rare thing.
Mm-hmm.
I usually come on, there's like 20 people fighting for the mic. It's a quiet night. Is everyone out?
Isn't that nice? Yeah.
Yeah, it's unusual to be this quiet for a Saturday evening stream.
What did I miss? What is our topic?
Oh,
the psychology
here
of
we go.
long-term
Mike,
isolation and boredom.
Amazon just delivered my some assorted mountain house meal. So if you can fly over here,
yeah, you know how much it cost me for that.
spend $10,000 for a $5 meal.
Honestly, I've sometimes Brian, when he goes on holiday over there, he literally takes rubbish clothes, gets there, leaves the clothes, and fills it up with freeze dried when he comes home.
Hey, that's good thinking.
I'm tempted to book a holiday just to stock up.
That's kind of what I do when I go to the Philippines. I wear my old clothes and take my old clothes with me, leave them in the Philippines. Sometimes they bring new clothes, but when I'm out in public over there, it's not a good idea to look like you have a lot of money.
Right, yeah. Blending.
Yes, it is a developing country, so yeah.
Vanessa, how long can you be out and about by yourself and still be sane afterwards? That's an interesting one, because I think most of us think, oh, we'll be fine. But I don't know if you guys have seen that Alone series. Have you seen that? Have a look for Alone, and it's like they're in the Alaska wilderness. They've done a British one, they've done an American one, and they are literally on their own filming themselves survival-wise. And you see how quickly people resort to talking to twigs and things like that.
Yeah, especially
hey, Mark,
now.
good to see you.
If you have enough food to eat, that's different. But these guys are out there trying to find berries and catch fish and all.
Hunger plays tricks on the mind.
Low blood sugar. Yeah, you're in trouble. Yeah.
What do we mean by isolation on this, Shadow? Do we mean with a family or purely solo? Are we talking?
Well, it's both. Family, you can, let's say you and your family get cut off totally, so you're isolated for a long-term period of time. So that will affect you and your wife and your kids, and at
Yeah.
certain point.
Yeah.
Definitely, and the big C taught a lot of people that, and I think a lot of couples, it either made them or broke them. So I broke up with my ex during that time. So we were one of the break sides, but some people, they grew closer with their partners, and it really made their relationship. So it really tests it, because we have so many exits right now, right? If you go to work all day, come back to the missus, there's a novelty of being apart, and now you're together again.
Yes.
Even if you go out doing jobs and stuff like that through the day, you come back and then you're together again. If you're with each other 24/7, it tests a relationship.
Uh-huh.
It really does.
Yeah.
Do you know, I've never looked up, but I've been curious. During the initial lockdown in those a couple of years ago, how many babies were born a year later?
Oh yeah, there was definitely a baby boom. There was a lockdown baby boom. Yeah.
I bet there was. I've never looked into the numbers, but you can figure,
Yeah, I can't remember the numbers, but there was an amount of people that are like, oh yeah, she's a lockdown baby. Yeah, she's a lockdown baby. It's like,
Oh, yeah.
the
I
TV
figured.
was still working, guys. Come on.
Yeah. Mhm.
Oh. It's interesting, even more so when we have these little mini disasters at home, like, for example, a storm, power goes out.
Yeah.
You end up having to find your own entertainment, do your own thing, do jobs, do whatever you can. And people that rely solely on being entertained by things like Netflix and stuff like that, that suddenly becomes, if you had that issue and you were stuck in the same place, you couldn't go out there and do something, it's like a double-edged sword, definitely. The whole bugging in thing, although people think that's my plan, it's going to be difficult mentally.
Yeah.
Very.
I was just discussing with Shadow, Mike, they're cutting off food stamps in the 1st of November. That's several million people in my country who are not going to get enough to eat. That could be a situation where I'm going to have to self-isolate. Could be. I'm just going to have to really play it by ear and be observant. Because I have a pattern. I go out and get my coffee and a sandwich every day, come back home. So if I stop going for my coffee, that's because I saw something, like an assault in the supermarket parking lot, because there's parking lot that's shared with supermarket, a Chinese restaurant, pizzeria, and coffee shop and all that. So I'm right there. If I see people getting assaulted going from the supermarket to their car, well, that's going to change my patterns. I'm going to...
You're going to get two waves. You're going to get that first wave initially of desperate people that are going to go outside that supermarket and beg and ask, can you spare a bit of that? Can you this? Can you that? Can this? Them same people, after a week of doing that, will get more desperate and they won't ask anymore. They'll try and take.
Yeah.
So.
That's... I'm not really a knife guy, Mike, but I did buy... this is going to be on my belt. This is just for that situation.
Yeah.
It's not a dagger and it's not a dirk, which is illegal to carry in Washington State. Yeah. It's just a very sharp knife.
Yeah, it looks like a what is it called now? Mesmuk knife.
It's a cold steel. It's just a belt knife, But I bought that knife.
But the design is.
But I always carry a lock blade in my pocket. I've got it also, but I want something where I can just reach down, click, and it's in my hand that fast.
Anyone thinking the same thing? Just make sure you're not caught with a bag in each hand. Yeah, that hand should be free to stop anyone else grabbing it, and so you can grab it. Yeah.
Yep.
That's the thing.
And if you have to, throw them a bag of groceries and go for your weapon.
That's it. Yeah.
Get the groceries, and I'm going to protect myself. Yeah.
I mean, you've got to everyone's got to come to that assessment at one point. If you are a prepper and you have food at home, what you're going for is extras. If your life is under threat, give them to them. Give them to them.
Give it to them.
Yeah.
Yes.
Walk away. That is your best option.
Yeah, even
Live through it.
but
Live through it.
in that case, we have another scenario. You give them the stuff, you try to walk away, but they don't let you go. That's
Well,
a-
that becomes a situation that has to be dealt with more physically, then, right?
Yeah.
So that's when you defend yourself. Most of the time, if it's a situation like this where the food stamps are stopped and they're going to be going hungry and they're thinking about feeding the kids, or in that desperate mindset, they'll be that overwhelmed and buzzing with a bag of groceries. By the time they look up to see you, you'll already be gone.
Gone. Yeah.
Yeah?
With
You don't
with
have
the
to
knife in
run.
my
You
hand.
don't have to make a scene and leg it. You can just turn and walk. They'll be looking straight away, and by the time they look up, you'd already be gone. So yeah.
And by the time they look up, I've got a sharp piece of steel in my hand, and I'm walking away from them. You
Yeah.
know, yeah. Just
That's
show them the knife. Show them the knife. Walk away. You know,
There you go.
that's my plan.
You've got a luxury of that kind of. I think Shadow, you can't do that where you are, like us.
No.
You can't just have the knife on your belt out. No,
No,
see, that's
no,
the
no.
problem. Yeah.
No, not in the public. Not in the public.
We could have the everyday carry, but waving a 2-inch blade at somebody.
That's
size
a bad
matters.
idea.
Yeah, I read all the Washington state laws, and I'm in compliance carrying this open carry on my belt, and the shape of the blade is within compliance. And yeah, if I got to pull it out and wave it and walk away, I'm not going to tell the cops about anything. I'm just going to get out of the situation and go. You know.
Yeah, and for anyone who wasn't here when we talked on Shadow Stream about defense and stuff like that, in that same situation, Bob, I already had the keys on the bunch, but Bob gave me an idea with the lanyard and just buying keys. I think it was on Amazon. They're about 20 quid for a box full of brass keys.
Yep.
And you just have keys that hang in there that you can.
Wow.
Yep. Exactly. I mean, and my new toy.
Hey, Teresa, good to see you.
That's my that's my Ferris rod, but I tell you what, it's got some Billy Club weight to it. It really has.
Yeah, if you use it properly, that will definitely be effective.
Come on, Shadow. Come on. When I got my knife out, you said yours was bigger. What about your rod? Is your rod bigger than mine?
No.
Wait a minute, that's a challenge. Here we go.
Welcome to the live. I'm here. I've arrived. I've downgraded the conversation. I apologize.
Oh my God. The British arrived and it all went to hell.
It all went to shit. The red coats are coming, Bob. The red coats are coming.
There they are.
Did you see the photos I emailed to you, Bob?
I clicked on it, but nothing came up. It said it was added to something.
Oh, there should have been 3 photos. It was my stepdad's Civil War collection. I was just showing you some of the stuff.
Oh, okay. I'll go back to it.
Yeah.
I'll try to find it. They loaded onto my Google something. And I'm a boomer, man. When it redirects me to something, I go, hey kid, come here. You know, I got to get one of my kids to help me out. So it's there. I'll follow it up. Yep.
In there, you'll see the gold key. He has the key to. Excuse me, I just sprayed that everywhere. He's got the key to the state of South Carolina, the golden key. So everything in South Carolina, from a hot dog to a hotel, he wouldn't have to pay for with that. It's picked up by the state.
Right on. That's right on.
For his services to history.
Do you think it's easier to handle and manage self-isolation than forced?
Yeah, because it's your choice. When anything's your choice, it's mentally easier, right? I'm choosing to do this. It's always going to be mentally easier because you've got the option. When the option's taken away from you, there's something psychological that clicks that thinks, I'm stuck. And you might not be claustrophobic or anything like that, but there's something in there. Ask anybody who spent any time locked up.
I think in comparison, all 3 of us were in the military, and being in the military is similar to a loss of choice, but
Yeah.
you volunteered to be there. So
I chose this shit twice, Bob. Twice.
Yeah. You didn't
Hey, Tech Barry.
learn last time?
Good to
What
see
the
you.
hell?
Well,
Yeah.
when I did my military service, it was mandatory. I didn't have any choice.
Oh, of course. Was it
Oh.
national service?
Oh.
National service there, Swede, is it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you can call it that. That
How
was
long?
mandatory. So if you refused, the MPs or the police would come and get you and take you straight to the regiment.
Wow.
Oh.
you go. Very
They would
mandatory.
better to just show up.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah,
if they
so
hand you over to the military, those guys are going to beat the shit out of you because they already don't like you.
So if you want to refuse to do your military service and you don't show up, they will guarantee knock on your door and
You're
get
going.
you to the regiment straight. No
Yeah.
questions, no arguing. They
Did you try and refuse, Shadow? Did you try and refuse?
No.
No.
I didn't.
No,
Good
just
stuff.
go. Uh-huh.
Good stuff. Yeah.
No, because we got the information that if you refuse and don't show up, the police or the MPs will pop up and get you there anyway, if
Well,
you
this
want
is
it or not.
This is what conscription and national service would be in any country, and people don't realize it's like, oh
Yeah.
just refuse.
Yeah.
I'll be like, yeah, you go and enjoy Colchester, which is probably one of the worst military prisons in the country. Not worst,
I had
the best
fun
military
when
prison
I
in the country. They call it the glass house, Bob, because that's how clean you have to keep your cell and stuff like that. Colchester military prison. So trust me, you'd rather do your national service than go somewhere like that.
Ours is Leavenworth, Kansas military prison. And yeah, the same thing. Everything's got to be spot on military regulation.
Mhm.
But your cellmate is a paratrooper or a Navy SEAL who's gone off the deep end. And now
Yeah.
you got to share a cell with a guy like that. No thanks.
Yeah.
No.
My uncle did 6 months in Colchester for beating up 2 MPs when he was drunk. He was in the army boxing team, so he could handle himself, and so he got 6 months in there. And he said genuinely he'd have rather done 5 years in a regular prison than 6 months in Colchester.
Wow, I can't blame him.
Yeah. So,
but what would be worse if Swede had refused, and they came and picked him up and brought him to the regiment where he was supposed to be, and now you're surrounded by a bunch of GIs who really don't fucking like you.
Yeah.
You're gonna get your ass kicked, man.
Well, you're a liability to them at that point, aren't you? So that's the thing. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Swede, I got my letter through for joining the reserves. So I've passed all the initials and now I've got my medical and stuff to go.
Oh,
So I'm signing back up.
that's good. If you want it.
It's good, but yeah, we've just literally, as soon as I got that letter through, I was like, oh, brilliant, excellent. It's a bit of weekend work. It's a bit of extra money. At the same time, mainstream media, biggest ever exercise of reserve troops mobilizing. I'm like, oh, great, yeah. So by the time I get in there, it'll be just in time to be shipped off somewhere. Typical. What is the term of service for compensatory service in Sweden? Yeah, how long do you have to do?
I did 10 months. It depends on...
That's okay.
Yeah, 10 months I had to do. There were those who were did longer. Some had to do 15 months. And that because they were officers. If you were a sergeant or something, you you had to, if you got they chose you to be a sergeant, you have to do 15 months, and then you.
Right. Yeah.
But you have to do after a while. You have to do what do you call it? What is the English word? You have to do a repetitive
or retest, like a retest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I didn't do the retest months. I didn't do that.
So I mean, I assume at the end of that service, people get the option to say, "Okay, I'm done. I'm going back to Civvy Street," or "I want to carry on." Can they carry on and be in the military after that? Is there a career option?
I was a private, so we didn't have a professional army by that when I did my service. So when I did my 10 months, I'm just straight into the civilian life.
Right. Okay. So it's more about having all the civilians trained than actually having a professional volunteer service.
So technically, I don't know the English word for it. You get a certain paper that says if something happens, you have to they will call you in.
Yeah. So it's basically you're contracted up to a certain time. Like over here, so when you sign up to the military, it's like a 4 or 6 year sign up initially, not for like reserves or conscription, and then after that they can call on you for like 10 years after that or something like that, that you're still eligible to be called up if there's a war and stuff like that. Is that what you mean? Yeah.
Yeah, but I don't have that kind of paper, so I would probably be in the reserves if something happens. But here's the kicker. I'm 54. So I'm too old they can't call me in to the military again, because that ends as soon as you turn 47 years old. You are too old for being called in to the military. But what will happen then? You will be called in for civilian defense.
Yes, yeah. So there'll be jobs at home that still need doing and stuff like that, and stuff to support the military. The other thing to remember in that case scenario, if it was actually, let's say, touch wood, God forbid, it's Russia coming over. Yeah. Look what happened in Ukraine. The conscription age was this much, and then they moved it up to this much, and then they moved it up to this much, and before you know it, you've got 60-year-olds in Ukraine that are fighting. So I wouldn't take it as a gimme that you'd never get called up. It's just let's hope it never gets to that point.
No, and I don't think they take people who have arthritis in the legs or something. I don't think that they do that. If you're not in I don't think they take any 65-year-old.
No, you'd have to be physically able to a degree.
Yeah. And probably I wouldn't be in that good shape that would fit their criterias for it. So
Brian says, if you're in 5 years, Mike, you will get promoted and your pension all in one. Cheeky bastard. Shocking. I'm not that old. Yeah, it's an interesting one. I'm sorry I missed the 2 hours of talking about this. It is a very interesting one, the psychological aspects of it.
Yeah, and we all get affected differently because we are different individuals. So
yeah.
So you will be affected in one way, and I would probably be affected in another way. And it depends on when you begin. Some people break down quicker than others.
I think it's probably one of the only scenarios where having kids will benefit me, because they will keep me so alert and working and doing stuff that the isolation will pass me by because I'm too concerned about other people. I'd feel more sorry for somebody facing it on their own.
Yeah.
Yeah, because at
And
least
do
if
it
you've got...
on your own. Nah, that would be not a fun thing.
Yeah, I did a lot of lockdown on my own, and we still had internet and we still had TV and everything like that, but it does get to you in a way. It does have long-term, thinking effects. So
Yeah, if it's 6 months, a year, 1.5, 2 years isolation, that can be, especially for a family, that can be really devastating at some point.
Yeah, but the guys on their own, you need to consider if that's ever going to be a situation. Buddy up with somebody. If you live on your own and you know some sort of lockdown's coming, you know there's some sort of bug-in situation coming, buddy up. Get a brother, get a friend, something like that. I would highly recommend that over facing that alone any day. And let's be fair, if things got worse from that situation, you got to sleep. And I know you can set up noise traps and stuff like that around your house, but you still got to sleep. I would rather have somebody there that I knew and trust to do watch with than be on my own. Yeah.
One thing that just now came to my mind, I had to go to the bathroom and come back. The first of the month, when they're cutting off the food, I'm going to go get extra cigarettes and extra coffee because I'm a nicotine addict and I'm also addicted to caffeine. So I'm going to go get extra. I've got stuff in storage, but you get it.
If you can avoid that trip to the shops in them times, it's always going to be better, right? So yeah,
it's always a bonus. Yeah.
Yeah, it's one thing I've started prepping recently, like the liquids and stuff for this. So, but to be honest,
good.
I don't think I'm as bad as I was when I was smoking. If I go on a long journey or something like that and I don't use this, sometimes I forget even, or a full day at work I can go without it. It doesn't bother me.
Yeah.
When I used to smoke, that bothered me. Bothered me. On before the flight to Texas, I remember, it's like 10 cigarettes before you get on the plane, and 10 cigarettes when you get off the plane.
Yeah, I do have a stack up of those little nicotine pouches that you put in your mouth. I do have quite a bit of those put away.
I tried one of them once. It was a weird sensation. It was like the minty one.
Yes, that's what I have. Those will get me through an international flight. Put one of those in my mouth and later on, when they start serving out food or something, just take it out, throw it on the tray, and go on. But even if I can't get to cigarettes, I've got that to get me over the hump. Do
you remember the good old days, Bob, when you could book a flight and book the smoking section?
I do. Yeah, I do. Yeah.
It was surreal when I went to Prague last time I went to Prague. They still smoke in all their places. So you go into a pub and people are still smoking and stuff in the pub, and it felt weird because we've not done it here for so long.
Yes. Yeah. Well,
I was like, am I allowed to do this?
When I was at Lakenheath, I would get a rail pass, Lakenheath, England, and I would get a rail pass and just jump off in one of the little villages and walk around, look around. I want to see how the average Englishman lives. Mm-hmm. And I went into a pub because I know most pubs serve sandwiches, and I went in there and ordered a pint and a sandwich, and school let out. And I looked to my right, and there's a couple of boys that are like 13, 14 years old drinking beer. and I almost yelled at him, like, get the fuck out of here, you know, because here it's 21. Don't matter where you're at, it's 21. You can't even go. And these were teenage boys from that little village, so the bartender knew them and served them both a half pint, and I had to stop myself. Oh, you're not home, Bob. You're in England right now. You're not at home. You know.
Yeah. It's
Similar circumstance.
It's it's weird here. You could still, I think you could still smoke at 16. It might be 18 now. They change it all the time. I lose track. But it came in a while ago that you had to look 21 to buy them. So it was called Challenge 21, and if they didn't look 21 and over, you didn't have to sell them to them. It was a really odd, it's you can smoke it, but you can't buy it.
Okay, that's odd.
Whereas when I grew up, shopkeepers didn't give two Fs about the law, and even my shopkeeper broke up his packs of cigarettes into packs of little bags of 3, with a little like almost like hotel strip of matches in there, and you'd buy that for £1. So before school, it'd be £1. I've got 3 cigarettes and the matches, and off I go. I could be in my school uniform and still get served in the shops near me.
Yeah. Is it still
days.
like that, do you think, or
No? I don't think there is places like that, because we have the price of cigarettes over here. So 20 now, I think his range is between 15 and £18 for 20 cigarettes.
and in dollars, boy, that's like $25 or
For a packet.
in there. Yeah. Oh, wow.
So lots of people have resorted to not so sanitary, legitimate cigarettes from these Eastern European mini markets, who will still give you a packet for £5. But you might be smoking the sweepings off the factory floor. But they'll still do you one for a £5. But obviously, if they're selling dodgy cigarettes, they're not going to ID you either. You know what I mean? Mm. So, yeah, it's... I don't know how... I could be wrong. Please correct me in the chat about the prices, because I don't smoke anymore. But I know it's expensive. Mm. And it's like, you know, when people used to come up to you, have you got a spare cigarette? You'd be like, yeah. Now it's like, no. That's like £1 every time you smoke one. So, yeah. There you go. 50 grams of Turner for a tenner. See, that must be dodgy. You can't get 50 grams of any tobacco for £10. How much are the legitimate prices in the shops, guys? Anyone that smokes in the UK? Because I've not been... £12.50 a pack, says Pete. How much is your mum's cigarettes? Do you know? £15 odd for 20 of her mum's cigarettes. It's just insane.
It's all taxes here in Washington State.
That's what it is here. Yeah, it's all tax.
Yeah,
all
taxes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's what I mean. People book a cheap holiday just to fill up with cases full of cigarettes.
We're getting some really high winds outside. Some of the things that I prepare for, high winds, because it knocks power out, you know. Yeah. So if I just go boop, you know, if I just disappear, then my power got knocked out.
How much is 20 where you are then, Bob?
About $10.
Wow.
And if about $10 for 20 cigarettes, you know.
Just looking at the exchange rate now. So someone just said average is $16.45. $16.45 in dollars is $21.89 for a packet. It's just
Well, here's the thing, you know, where we live overseas in Davao City, it's against the law to smoke in public. Yeah, it's against the law. You will get nicked.
Just out in the street.
Yes.
Oh wow.
But you go to another city, no problem. Nobody cares. But just in that city, you got to go to a designated smoking area.
Oh, so it's like being at work where you have a smoking shelter,
yes,
but in the
yes,
public.
yes,
Oh, wow.
it's like being at work 24/7. You know, so
That would do my head in. The only thing they've cracked down here is if one of these Nazis with the cameras on the chests who follow you around, if they see you drop a cigarette end, they come up to you trying to fine you hundreds of pounds.
oh boy,
They don't say pick it up or anything like that. They just try to fine you straight away.
when I'm overseas though, I've got those nicotine packets, so I can just drop one in my mouth and I'm good to go. But at home, at our home, they don't care. You know, they smoke out, walk, because it's a guarded community, and if you want to go walk down the street there, no big deal. You know.
Yeah.
But if you go out in the city where the public can see you, you're going to get nicked.
Wow. Yeah.
You know,
It's madness.
my English brother-in-law, he and I had to go. We were at a bar. We had to go through the kitchen, go into some real dingy hallway back room to smoke. And I said, "Hey Gary, how about this? The women can go out there and sell their ass on the sidewalk. You can get drunk as you want to out on the sidewalk. You can take a piss on the sidewalk, and nobody gives a shit. But you better not light up a cigarette. How about that?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. With the new evil people of the world, smokers,
Smokers are evil. Yeah.
I did used to like some of the old systems though when we still had smoking here. Like we had a Morrison's, which is like a supermarket, like a Walgreens, something like that. And they had a cafe in there, and there was one side smoking and one side non-smoking. And the table for non-smoking was here, and the smoking table was here, and all that was between them was a lattice fence with huge gaps in. I'm like, how does the smoke know? How does it know to stay on this side?
It just knows.
It just knows. You can
Maybe
literally
a
be
force
sat
field.
this close to a non-smoking table. It's like, sorry.
But yeah, overseas, I see guys turn their back and piss anywhere, anywhere they want. Now you're going to get nailed for that in the States, but you can smoke a cigarette. But it's like, and a lady selling her body for extra money here in the States, you're going to get busted.
Yeah.
And over there, they just turn the back and walk away from it. It's like, but if you smoke a cigarette,
you could take the hooker home, but don't have a cigarette afterwards, whatever you do. Honestly, some of the laws are just tragically ridiculous. It's just, yeah. There's was it Japan? I think it was Japan. So I used to help my mate out. He had a used car business, and he'd get imports now and again. And he got an import of a people carrier from Japan. It's like 8-seater car. And we had to valet it. And we were scrubbing the roof with these sponges, and yellow tar was running down our arms.
Wow.
We thought it was a brown interior. When it was finished, it was white. Because over there's no smoking areas even at the offices. So they're all working in an office, and what they do at their break times is they all go and gather in people's cars, and they smoke like chimneys in the cars. So a people carrier, they'd have 8 of them in there during a lunch break, smoking away.
Cow.
So it was just absolutely embedded into it.
Ooh, I'm a smoker, and I don't want to be in the middle of that. You know?
I was a smoker at the time, and it was like, it's running down my arm, like, I need a break, and then I'm lighting a cigarette thinking, Yeah, not nice, not good.
And here in the States, if you go to the international airport, no smoking in the airport at all. None.
Same here, yeah.
You go to Asia, and they've got a room. It's a smoking room in every airport I've been to over in Asia. You know, it's like
Manchester Airport. I don't know if it's still the same. It's been a while since I've been there, but last time I was there, they don't have a smoking room as such, but you go up and you like go out onto a purpose-built balcony, So you're kind of outside, but it's sheltered above, and it's got like plastic wall things. So you're like inside, outside. So that's like the kind of area you can go for your desperate last minute cigarette before your flight. So yeah, it's weird, but they're making less and less contingencies now. The workplace I'm at now has no smoking area at all.
Oh, we do. Yeah.
So we're becoming lepers.
Yeah, my last few years at Boeing, I had nicotine gum, and I didn't smoke at all. You know,
Yeah.
I just pop in some gum, and I'm good to go. You know, I could go outside the gate and smoke, but hell with that. I just put a nicotine gum in my mouth, and I was good to go. You know.
Yeah, I got some looks because when the baby was born, I had a cigar, like a celebratory cigar. And I went out and I was over by the car park, away from anyone, away from any kids or anything like that, having this cigar. But honestly, people looked at me like I was the devil. It's just, what's he doing? Yeah. He's near a hospital smoking a cigar. I'm not talking like a little Hamlet. This was like a huge...
like a Cuban?
So like an Arnold Schwarzenegger style.
A stogie. That's a nickname for it here in the States. I was smoking a big stogie. Yeah.
That was it. Yeah, I used to have one every Christmas. That was my Christmas tradition with myself.
Yep. Yeah. Here in the States, they sell little packets of about 5 or 6 small cigars. They're Swisher Sweets. And the young people will roll the tobacco out of it and fill it with marijuana.
Oh yeah, make a blunt. Make a blunt.
A blunt. Yeah. That's what they call it, a blunt. Yeah.
Yeah. It's Henry Winterman's over here. That's the packets they have there.
Oh, okay.
Similar sort of thing. Yeah. Expensive though. Again, I was like, I don't think anyone would make them anymore anyway, because the cost of the tobacco is more than the cannabis now.
Yeah, I think it is here too.
Yeah.
Recreational marijuana is legal in Washington State. You can have it.
Yeah.
And I recall prior to them legalizing marijuana, there'd be young people hanging outside a 7-Eleven smoking blunts. I mean, every one of them, day and night, they're smoking weed. As soon as they made it legal, it all stopped.
Yeah, it's not fun if it's not illegal, Bob.
Yeah, I think that's what it was all about. It was being a rebel, you know.
And this is what governments don't understand. The more they impose rule on people, the more people want to rebel against it, right?
Yeah.
You know, half the people, if they didn't announce a lockdown, we talk about isolation, if they didn't announce a lockdown, they'd have sat in their house anyway.
Yeah.
They'd have been in there video gaming all day long, but because it was lockdown, they're like, oh no, they're allowing me to go for a 30-minute walk every day. I will go and do it. You've not done it for 40 years. Why have you suddenly started walking now?
You're right. Yeah.
But it's you impose that rule on people, then suddenly give them permission to do something like, okay, we'll do it. It's just robots to the slaughter.
Yeah, I was discussing with Shadow before you arrived. Seattle area was the first in the U.S. to have a mandatory 2-week lockdown, and no going to work, no da. And I noticed the first week, now the liquor stores were still open, and the marijuana stores were still open. You know, and that was unaffected.
Essentials.
We had a 2-week shutdown. You were excused for not going to work, all that, and my neighbors started drinking heavily, all of them, because I was living in a different place. It's row houses, and they're out there just putting the beer down day and night. It's a party. Don't have to go to work.
It's a holiday.
Drink more. Next thing you know, I see 2 men out there damn near beating the hell out of each other because one guy got too close to his sexy wife because they're drinking and drinking and drinking. And that's one of the side effects of being in isolation, you know.
I don't do drugs. I don't deal with them well.
No.
I know my limits.
No, I can imagine the hangover.
Yeah, these folks were like, "Hey, there's no tomorrow. Don't have to go to work, so we can get drunk as hell today." And oh, man, they did that. Some of them did that day after day after day after day. Oh, but yeah,
Yeah. It's people. It's people's coping mechanisms, right? Because that's what we do in
yeah.
isolation. We have coping mechanisms. Like I went down that road badly, thinking I was doing it, sophisticatedly by mass drinking, but red wine. I wasn't out there tipping the beers,
Oh,
but I was going through a bottle a day of red wine, and then at the weekend that would turn into 2 bottles on a Friday or a Saturday.
it's
That's a
still the
lot of
same.
red wine,
Yeah, it's still alcohol. Yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
it's just a coping mechanism. Like people
Mhm.
just and it becomes so easy. It's like on holiday, you're so relaxed. It's like, oh, I might have a beer, and that's when your missus turns around and says it's only 11 o'clock. It's like, it's 12 o'clock somewhere.
Uh-huh. Mhm. Mhm.
I'm on holiday, but that's the attitude, right? That's
Yep.
the attitude they had. They were on holiday, so they can just
They were on
drink and drink
holiday
and drink. Yeah.
and they put it down. Yeah. And
Mm.
uh, yeah, that whole isolation shit didn't do anybody any good. It just
No.
didn't do anybody any good.
Yeah.
But when I do recall now, my wife's a nurse and all that. There were many people she put in body bags because of the COVID, because
Yeah.
they were already immunely compromised. They were senior citizens. She bagged and tagged a number of people because of that. And
Yeah. I lost.
you know, so there was
I,
something to it.
I lost. I lost 2 friends to it. Older friends, heart conditions, previous conditions. They were fine before
Yeah.
it, but the COVID obviously knocked them out, sort of thing, even more. And I lost 2 friends to it. And I officially lost my nan to it. We'll ignore the stage 4 cancer and the growths coming out of her chest and the fact that they already give her like 2 weeks to live 3 weeks before. We're still going to write COVID on the death certificate.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that I don't know. I think they got funding if they had a victim. It was
Yeah.
weird. I don't know how all that shit worked out, but
Yeah.
yeah,
It was wasn't good. Wasn't good. That annoyed me more than anything else.
I agree.
Hey, dear love survival, good to see you.
Reserves? Reserves what?
I have
Yeah.
no idea.
Oh. Wine reserves. Yeah, and to be honest, Bob, one of my preps that I would say for other people, was cigarettes for barter. But I genuinely don't think I have the discipline to stock them. As much as I've not had a real
Oh.
cigarette for a while, officially, we won't include the odd, cigar and stuff like that. But if I had the packets in me, like behind me in the cupboards and stuff like that, there's and for some reason the coil went on this, instead of going out and making the effort, I'd just end up opening one, just going back to them. So I haven't got the discipline for it.
If you're in doubt, don't do it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just don't do it. Yeah.
No, that's a bad idea.
Couldn't afford to. Couldn't afford to. I could sell a child. I might be able to smoke again. Immunocompromised since 1987 here.
Yeah.
Is that like me?
Ooh.
I've got autoimmune disease. So I've got alopecia and stuff like that. Obviously, doesn't look like it right now, but I've got photos and they're even on my Discord for the network, where it's all just bald patches completely. So I've got alopecia, which never goes away. So I've got an autoimmune disease. So that's kind of one of the risk factors. But you know what? Never had it. I've been around people with it. I've looked after people with the big C and stuff like that, and I've never caught it once, as far as I'm aware.
I've caught it. I've caught it
Yeah.
twice. Mm-hmm. Yep. The first time, it's like having influenza, but it affects your mind more than it does your body.
Yeah.
It's weird. And the second time I caught it was like, yeah, no big deal.
Mm.
You know,
My friend got that long COVID, and that really knocked him for six for a while.
Yeah, that was my first batch that I got. Was it put me down pretty well, and the second time I caught it was like, and still it wasn't like that. It wasn't like influenza where it really made you drained sick. It was more like your mind is sick. I can't describe it. It's almost like it was made in a laboratory somewhere.
Yeah. I've still got a message on my phone from my friend that we lost. The last message he sent to me from hospital was, they want to put me on a ventilator. I really don't think it's necessary. They're just being stupid. And that's the last ever message he sent to me.
Oh, crap. I'll be right back, guys.
Yep. I've caught it 3 times then in Feb this year. 3 different upper respiratory infections, says Vanessa. Wow.
Yeah.
It's difficult. It's weird because with the autoimmune disease, you're supposed to be more susceptible to stuff like that, but I don't know. Maybe I got it and just never took the test. Just kept going.
Yeah.
I don't think I will ever be immunocompromised. I've been around too much bad stuff that I'm probably closer to a cockroach now. I like that. Cockroach is a good survivalist.
Oh, yeah. You can nuke them and they still live.
I did 70 Sil Spirits last night, did work, and now back on it to wind down. But off walking the coast again very soon.
Yeah, so it could be a potential situation for me at my house with this food stamp being shut off, and I'll keep you guys informed.
Have they said about putting anything in place as a contingency? Is FEMA there with bags of rice or?
Haven't seen any of that, but there are
They probably don't.
There are food banks. There are churches who have well stocked for the public. There's no reason for people to be able to go out and start robbing shit, because you can go to the different churches in my town and they'll give you food. In fact, many of them have free lunches from donated food. So if the only way I could see a reason why they would have to start robbing anyone is because this has been going on for too long, or you're just a fucking savage,
The thing is as well, them churches and them food banks, they have, like any business, they know how many people they cater for, they know how much to take in. And with something like this, if they've not pre-planned and expected a massive demand, there's a chance they could run out as well.
There is, yeah.
So especially when it comes to these food banks, lots of the food donated is short dated from companies and stuff like that. So they could run out very quickly in a situation like that.
Well, I pay attention locally, and if their local food bank puts out a call for donations, I will go donate. I will.
There's companies that don't even do it over here. That's ridiculous as well. I don't know if it's still the same, so I'm not going to slate them too much in case they've changed the ways. But I was doing shuttering outside of a Marks and Spencer's. Now that is like the posh shop over here, yeah. So most people shop at these supermarkets. Marks and Spencer's is a pricing bracket above.
Okay.
Now I was doing shuttering, so building concrete shuttering blocks for trucks to load in to the bays.
Yep.
When I did joinery, so we were putting the shuttering up so the concrete could be poured. And they were coming out at the end of the day, and they were putting loads of these chickens and food and fresh meat just into these bins. Loads of it, absolutely loads of it.
Yeah.
And we said, oh, what the hell's that? It must all be bad or something. And we went and had a look, and it didn't go off till the day after. It didn't go off, so it was like the 13th, let's say, and it was the evening, and it went off on the 14th. Most supermarkets would reduce it for a quick sale. Their policy at the time was not to do that. Their policy was also not to donate it. So it was just wasted. It was just thrown out. They literally didn't donate it or anything like that because of their upper class reputation would be at stake if they could reduce stuff on. But honestly, it's savage to see that happening, and then you walk around the front of the same supermarket and there's two people with hungry and homeless signs.
Yeah. Here, as far as I know, the stores will donate that food to food banks. As far as I know, but I know that, like example, if someone purchases something from my local supermarket and they return it, now that's got to go in the garbage right away.
Yeah, because you don't know if it's tampered and
correct. Yeah,
that
is
safety factors
automatically thrown out. Yeah.
Well, what we have here. So I was in a Tesco the other day. They might donate something. I'm not sure if they donate something themselves, but what they do have is they'll have food bank baskets near the door.
Yes.
So you go through, get all your shopping, and then you can throw a couple of things into that basket that goes towards the food bank afterwards, sort of thing. Sometimes I've looked in the basket and gone, oh crap, I forgot to pick up cereal. No, I can't take it from the basket.
Little walking that line of ethics right there.
Yeah. It's like, do I really want to go back around again? I'm gonna have to.
Yeah. Well, that's happened here in many different shops in this town, where they'll have a box in there. Just here and there, it doesn't happen all the time, but here and there, when the food bank needs donations, they'll put a box in a lot of small businesses.
It's just, it feels like half the time it's logistics that are broken. Like we've got hungry people, and then we've got people throwing food away. It's like just. Where we just need to meet this in the middle. It's like, what did Alan say the other day? In Ireland, they've just killed a huge percentage of their cows, not for food, for waste, to hit some sort of carbon score target. There's no words, is there? There's no words for something like
that. Yeah. There is one word. It's called corruption.
It's called stupidity.
Carbon. Yeah. That's dumb. That's dangerous, man. That's just because of carbon. That my thoughts on that whole Green New Deal, all that shit. It's corruption, man. Somebody's getting paid for all this shit. Stop the waste or whatever. It's like, oh God.
There you go. Just found the article. So, countries binding reduction targets. It suggests that 10% reduction in dairy cows, about 160,000 head, would result in 0.7 million tons of carbon dioxide equivalent reduction in emissions. So that's why they're doing a cull. It's just madness.
If that meat is not contaminated, God damn it, sell it to a cannery. I mean, there's plenty of canneries are out there that will, instead of throwing it into a pit and burying it, drive them over to a cannery and slaughter them. Turn it into dog food if you have to, or pig food. But that's just so wasteful. That's just government corruption right there.
Shocking for carbon.
Yeah,
it's just
emissions.
Guaranteed. Whoever signed off on that probably gets a private jet somewhere. Probably goes on holiday 3 or 4 times a year, and probably has a carbon footprint bigger than all of us put together.
Yeah, getting cash under the table.
Yeah, it's madness. I don't buy into this whole. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm not like a denier of climate change. The fact that we are burning stuff, we are going to affect the environment. It's simple maths. That's simple science. But when we are exporting our emissions to another country to make ourselves feel good, It makes no fucking difference. The Earth is still getting it. Just double the amount now in China because we've exported our industry to them.
Yeah, I've looked a deep dive on that. The U.S. is not allowed to do that. We cannot export our electrical items and plastics and all that. We have to deal with it ourselves. And there are big facilities here. There's an enormous one in Tennessee that rail cars full of plastics go right in there. And they've developed ways of making it into lumber for construction. But I also saw how in Europe, they'll load semi-truck containers full of non-recyclable plastics, and they ship it to Poland, and the Polish people just stack it up. They can't do nothing with it, and the electronics go to China or another country, Nigeria, and they rip it apart, get the copper out, and then take all that stuff and light it on fire. It's like,
I think if you get like 36 old mobile phones, you can get like a gram of gold if you melt them all down.
Yeah.
That might be worth doing soon.
I've been to China 3 times, and I could never see the sky in China. It's smoky over there, man, because they're burning tons of plastic.
Yeah, well, we mentioned the COVID times and stuff like that. My dad flew back from China 2 days before the lockdown. Do you know where he was? Wuhan.
Oh,
yeah.
Shit. Yeah.
He was at the epicenter of that. He was watching their bars get shut down while he was sat in one and stuff like that.
He's lucky he got out.
He never got any tests when he got back to the UK. He got straight through.
Wow.
So when he told me that, I'm like, this is your fault. This is all you. You brought it here. But yeah, that was madness. Madness.
Yeah, it is. I agree, definitely.
But it's probably the best test as preppers that we've had.
Yes.
Most of us in our lifetime, unless you've been to war, unless you've been in the extreme environments, like I know you have, Bob. Unless you've been in that other situation, for most preppers, that was the best test you are ever going to get of your resilience, both mentally, physically, what stuff you got, everything. That was the live action test that you went through.
Yep. The next best was 2020 George Floyd riots here in my area. That was a good test. Shadow's heard this a million times. First thing they did when they moved in my area is cut power. They cut down a bunch of wooden power poles and shut down power. And then they started lighting fires everywhere. I mean, there were fires burning along every highway, every brush pile, everything. And that was a real test. Then they went out from there and they started going to these very small communities in the mountains. And that's where the population stopped them.
Yeah,
because every mom and dad, everybody was out there with their weapons, standing on the streets waiting for them. Antifa showed up to one small town and they stopped and they turned around because these country people carry a shovel in the back of their pickup. You want to mess around and find out, don't do it in the mountains. Don't. You will never be found.
This is the training exercises, right? Because when it comes to SHTF, a lot of the fictional stories for preppers, people call it prepper porn, whatever you want to call it, like 1 second after is based on an EMP. And in them, it's the city folk that are fleeing the city because there's lack of food and supplies and hygiene, and they're ending up at these small towns. But by that time, they've already banded together, they've already secured it, they've already know the ins and outs and stuff like that. And you ain't getting in. You ain't getting in. That's the best places to live in that situation.
I'm going to bounce out of here, guys. My missus is home, and she promised to bring some food home with her. So,
good stuff.
Thanks for having me up, Shadow. Good to talk to you again, Mike.
Yeah,
you're very
too,
welcome,
Bob.
Peace
Vote,
out,
Bob.
everyone.
Vote, Bob. Vote Bob.
Vote for Bob. Yeah,
Vote for Bob.
these British said vote for Bob for president. Yay! We're gonna have Thailand fucking Thailand ledge dancers in the White House. Woo! Peace out, guys.
Excellent. See you later, Bob.
Take care, Bob.
You might get an early night tonight, Shadow.
Yeah,
it
it has been a really quiet stream. No messing around, no fooling around.
People might start thinking you're going to run an efficient one. We'll have to start being more on time.
Yeah. But anyway, this topic is very rare spoken in the prepper community in general.
It's
because the psychological effects of a long-term isolation and boredom, even this mentally fit guy can break down, but it takes a little time for that person to break down. But those who don't have a strong mental health mentally, they will break down quicker and faster.
Yeah. And preppers have had 2 points of view on this when I've spoke about entertainment as a prep before, right? Because I've got like old battery-powered portable DVD players, stuff like that. And you get one school of thought of you're going to be that busy trying to survive, doing this, doing that. There won't be any time for entertainment and stuff like this. And I feel like they're wrong. At some point, there's going to be downtime and stuff like that. You might not be able to sleep in the evening. You might not be able to go straight to sleep with lots of stuff on your mind. Entertainment is massive, especially if you have kids, even if you don't have kids. And it's something when you look at any of the hardcore prepping like channels or schools or anything like that, it's like water, food, shelter, fire, weapons. Nobody says Monopoly, Yahtzee, cards, DVDs, entertainment. Nobody talks about it because it's just like a given.
Yeah.
But yeah,
the problem with long-term isolation and boredom is you don't have the isolation and the boredom to deal with. You have the stress. You need to get that done and that done and that done, and you need to take care of the family. It causes stress as well. So sooner or later you will break down.
Yeah, that's it. Marty's just said there, lots of downtime. You can't function on calorie deficit every day. So if you're also rationing food by that point, you're not going to be up chopping wood every single day and stuff like that. You're going to have time where you just need to, relax, and your brain needs a break a lot of the time.
And the sleep will be more important.
Yeah, 100%. But I mean, I know from personal experience, if something's going on that's a danger, I won't sleep. The only time I'll sleep is when I physically drop. I won't be able to go there, lie down and go to sleep thinking about my family. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's a difficult one.
It is.
There you go, Mr. Wild Beast. Can't work in the dark for 18 hours during the winter time. There you go.
Yeah, and the problem is if your family members break down first, that will cause even more stress to you.
Yep. You've got to keep them entertained. You've got to keep them happy. You've got to keep a level of normalcy. That's what prepping is. If it wasn't about keeping a level of normalcy or a lifestyle, then there'd be no point prepping. We may as well just be survivalists.
Yeah.
And do it a different way. The fact that we are prepping food we eat, food we like, food our family likes, entertainment items, books, knowledge, stuff like that, everything is because we want some sort of normalcy for family, for the people around us. Because it's going to be a stressful situation no matter which way you look at it. And if you can just introduce that little bit of comfort, that little bit of normalcy, then it's going to do wonders. This is why one of my preps is biscuits. Sounds ridiculous, but like chocolate biscuits is one of my preps because that's a normal thing for my kids. You know, they vet all the tea,
Yeah.
you know, they ask for something, they get 2 biscuits and they're happy with that. And if that continues, even with the world going to chaos around, it's a bit of normalcy. It keeps them level. So, yeah.
Yeah. Especially if it's in a SHTF and you get isolated with your family. You need to worry about your family. You need to worry about gather more food and make sure you have enough. You especially when it comes to water, you can stock up on water at a certain amount, but you will sooner or later run out. So you need, before that run out, you need to go out and get more water.
You need to be able to source it and filter it.
Yeah,
100%.
And the problem you have when you do that, you will have the other problem to that, the danger of other people.
Yeah.
And even if you're isolated totally, you can run into other people when you looking for water.
Yeah.
So, and when they see you carrying, water jugs and bottles and things like that, they will suspect that, okay, he has something.
Yeah.
And they will, you collect your water and you go back, they will follow you. And, so that creates a lot of stress as well. So,
yeah, it's a water plan you need to have in place massively. If you can collect it where you are, even better. If you can make a borehole or well, amazing. But if it's not, if it's rainwater collection, if it's water butts, if you live in an apartment, if you can access the roof and just fill the roof with buckets to collect rainwater, any way you can do that without actually leaving and having to trek down and find a river source is going to be beneficial. I'm not saying it'll last forever. You could have a period of drought, stuff like that. So you still have to have a plan in place for all of these. But you're right. Some people will just buy, 40 litres of water, put it in a cupboard and think, right, well, that's water sorted. Now let's get loads of food and this, that, and the other and stuff like that. And it's like, that's not going to last 2 minutes. It's not going to last you at all. So, yeah.
You need at least the double amount of water as you have food.
Yeah. And you've got to bear in mind, if you're using something like freeze-dried food as well, there's even more water needed to rehydrate the food as well.
Yeah, you need probably triple that amount of water stored. But how many of us can store triple amount of water at home?
This is it, yeah.
That's very few who can. Unless you have a big mansion you live in. Well, if you have a big mansion you live in, you can store that triple amount, maybe quadruple or amount of water.
Yeah. There's ways to do it. If you've got facilities like you can have a shed out there, containers in a shed, stuff like that, you could store a lot. But again, in the UK, we're probably similar to yourself. We're limited on space. Like, we're very limited on space. And anything I put in my garden at the moment is overlooked by a tower block. Like a huge tower block of apartments can look right in. Yeah. So anything I do out there is already, I wonder what that is. Oh, look at him moving giant blue barrels into a shed. I wonder what they're full of. It's like,
and that makes people curious, too curious.
Definitely. Yeah.
And I don't like that.
No, we had an attempted burglary not last night, the night before, next door. They tried to take the motorbike from the next door neighbour's back garden. kicked down the fence, snapped the locks, started to push it away, kind of thing. They got caught and everything, but 5 o'clock in the morning, it just makes you realise.
Yeah.
Urban area. Thanks to you, yes, thank you. She heard them and got them caught by reporting them and stuff. But yeah,
that's
it's it makes you realise how vulnerable you are in an urban area, and that's in peace times.
Yeah. Oh. You can imagine how that will change in crisis and disasters.
This is why I'm literally throwing everything I possibly can into getting land and getting out of here.
Yeah, I can understand that.
Yeah, I mean,
I would do the same.
So you're in an apartment, am I right?
Yeah, yeah.
Top
an
floor?
Apartment. Top floor.
Yeah. What's your area like, risk-wise? Is it very urban?
Well, it takes me if I go downtown, walking, it takes me 15 minutes down to the central town. So, and then we have the E4 going straight through the city.
Mm-hmm.
So there from north to south. So we have a lot of trucks that transport dangerous chemicals and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
So, and we have some plants that manufacture different chemicals, industrial chemicals.
Yeah. So you've got quite a risk factor there.
Yeah. And we have a lot of forests around here as well.
Yeah, I mean that's a good thing, right?
Yeah, but the problem is forest fires.
Well, yeah, yeah.
That would not be a fun thing either.
No. Do you feel at risk with the how much closer you are to Russia and that front line than we are in the UK? Do you feel like people are prepping for it?
We probably closer to Russia. Let's say if we look at the map,
mm-hmm.
You have Finland in the east, and you have the Baltic Sea.
Yeah,
that separates our both countries. But I can see if I can find a map. Where is it?
Someone said, "How was my weekend?" I'm still in it. It's good. I've got my kids, so I'm happy.
Okay. Can we get... As you see here,
mm-hmm.
Here is I'm here.
All right, okay.
And here is Finland.
Yeah.
And here is Russia. So
yeah, it's
it's
close
here,
enough.
Yeah, you see here,
mm-hmm.
You have Murmansk.
Mm-hmm.
And you see all the way here is Russia.
Yeah.
And we are here. And Norway is here. So we are pretty close to Russia.
Have you seen more military activity?
I have seen a lot of military vehicles. They transport and from the manufacturer to testing areas, and I have seen a lot of military transports. But
Yeah.
and when I went to the grocery store a couple of weeks ago, I saw foreign military people in I don't know which country they were from, but they was just sitting in the grocery store because we have a cafeteria in the grocery store.
Right,
So
okay.
they were sitting there and talking, and they had their uniforms.
Yeah. Yeah. Scary times. Scary times.
So we see more foreign military here. So then well, which we had never seen so much foreign militaries here than now.
Yeah, it's a staging ground with it being so close, right?
Okay.
Show where I live. Where's
And
that?
where is that? Okay, she says I'm more at risk. Okay, where are you? I need to open that map up again. So where are you?
Skin.
Ah,
Oh,
Skåne.
Skåne. There you go.
Yeah.
Skåne. Okay, I'll get it.
Yeah. It is down here, basically. So it's down here. So she lives in the southern parts of the country
Yeah.
because she has
Poland,
Poland.
Lithuania, and Kaliningrad's
Yeah.
over there, yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Letland. Yeah, and then you have the Russia there. So, and Belarus is there. So that's pretty close.
Yeah. Very close. Too close for comfort for me.
Yeah. So we are close,
Yeah.
both of us.
Do you think, have you seen, you had the leaflets, didn't you? You had preparing leaflets in Sweden. I'm sure there was a pamphlet out and stuff like that. Do you think most people paid attention, or did it go in? There you go. The yellow one's the one I've seen.
Yeah,
I've done a
that's
video
the
on
latest.
that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you think people paid attention to that? Because I'm curious how well that would work over here.
Well, those pamphlets works pretty well here, and people save them. Some people don't save them; they throw them away.
Mm-hmm.
But we try to remind them to keep them because they can be useful. So
Yeah. We're the only country anywhere in Europe that's still not preparing, as far as we're aware. So
yeah. And we have some advantages on our coastline. The Russian submarines cannot enter our waters because they are too big. They are too big for our waters.
right.
So they will have some issues with that. And we have a lot of islands in our coastal area, so it's really tough to navigate through it.
Yeah. Pete said that they said the north, Russia was building up military in the north as well, so that's probably actually closer to you.
Yeah, Murmansk is closer to me than.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, if I remember it correctly, Murmansk, they have their naval fleet there.
Yeah.
Some of it. And I believe they have also those rocket missile launching systems there as well. Probably,
Right.
if I remember it correctly. So,
Well, I think
okay,
I'm.
you take care, Sandy.
Yeah, I think I am ready for the off as well. I'd hate to leave you on your own, but if you're gonna end,
Well, I probably end wrap
cool.
things up anyway. So I'm on 3:31. So
Yeah, it's a good length. Good length. Right, I'll let you wrap up to the audience. I'll just say goodbye to anyone that's come in from my side, and thank you for having me on, Shadow, on the panel.
it's always a pleasure.
I know I was late, but you know,
Yeah, it's
cool-
late for you and me.
the cool people are always late to the party. What can I say?
Yeah.
Thanks for having me on. I look forward to a topic next week as well. So
Yeah.
I'll see you later.
I'll figure something out. Yeah.
See you later.
See you. Thanks for stopping by. Okay, guys. Thanks for stopping by. I appreciate it. And I will see you next week. Same channel, same me. And remember, be part of the solution, not the problem. Stay safe. Take care. And God bless. I will see you in the next one.